was a fair. It's just on map number 4 is when Mongols completely ran over Heroic, right? So I'm still going to go with the way of Mongols. I have to. I think they have a tryst with destiny today here, Richard.
I think Heroic cannot come from behind to win this game. It has to be playing from ahead the entire time.
All right. Okay, guys. Well, we're going to get straight into the action. It's going to be Mongols taking on Heroic on Mirage.
Yes, sir. I think that Bled has said it best. Destiny feels like a word that may be thrown around today when it comes to Mongols playing at the very first Asian major. It's a great opportunity for them because of this recent matchup versus Heroic that they had, Mo. There are no strangers in the server to one another tonight.
Best part for me is that, the crowd hasn't even been all over Mongols, and they had the hardest day one possible, and they even had to beat Mao's in overtime. They didn't have just a straight-up MR12 result. They have proved a lot so far versus a lot of teams in a row, and honestly, Heroic wouldn't even be the best team to take down at the moment. So let's see if they can once again beat a team that they have a great record versus. Heroic have only one map against them in the opening game of that Thunderpick final, where it felt like Heroic were going to be the one to finally figure out how to win an event with this lineup.
In that BO5, we had close maps. We also had blowouts, total blowouts, and one of which, of course, being the final map. Where else? On Mirage. So, of course, that's where we kick this one off. It feels like we've got a little bit of revenge in the server for that, specifically here in the Dusty Bowl. That is the A site. Dexter continues to look for a second kill of the round, and he's seeing a bit of skin, but nobody really trying to pounce on it just yet. Nice slow burn for Mongols, but that does open the door for this wraparound over on ramp. Now losing Senzu out on middle, suddenly these players are going to be corralled as they try to walk forth into this bomb site, and they haven't even considered the back line. TeSS activates, beautiful second kill, and it's going to be Heroic.
And he's had some great maps.
Clean sweep of the pistol.
Yeah, TeSS has had some great maps, definitely. So the factors that I think can work in favor of Heroic when it comes to winning this is the Saw Kicks and combo. I think we haven't seen the peak of that relationship in terms of how long all of these players have been together and how much they've played with Dexter specifically. And then the second factor is Dexter himself, who has so much X factor in some moments that you see his stats are very parabolic, depending on who he plays. He could play badly versus a tier 2 team or great versus a tier 1 team. But fact is, they've got some history now. If Dexter's having a good day, he can be the best player on the entire server, even a game versus Mongols.
Well, right now we've got pistols answering. Hold on. That M4 over towards Ticket looked to set it up so well. And with a flurry of kills between the 3 remaining players from Mongols, they pick up the guns. Sent packing in the pistol without a single frag, down by 2 out of the ramp exit. And that really is kind of the power that the Mongols has at times. They stampede through an A site in a 3 versus 5, and Heroic's momentum disappears in the blink of an eye.
I thought I would try to say something nice about Heroic while I had the chance.
Well, there it went.
So, yeah, Mongols versus Mao's on this map was amazing. Amazing for the variety of calls, the amount of ways in which they did win, not just things that they tried. The lurks in play, Blitz as a leader and an individual in late game moments, and how his team ended up, I think, feeding off of the fact that he wasn't nervous into overtime, where everybody else started to chip in again. It looked like they were going to let that game go, and that's why Blitz is the heart and soul of the Mongols. I don't think there are many people who think that there will be an upset today. As Yanko said, top 3 team at the major in form. It's pretty hard to deny, considering, well, they just don't lose.
Add to that again, recent tape. Could it end up favoring Heroic that they played recently? You mentioned Saw and Kixan, and I think there is some value there. But no plan's going to get you having an edge over Mazzinho. He's able to clean up both. That's one of the 2 M4s to hit the ground. Kixan short, MP9 in hand, but the second rifle will prevail at least, although coming at the cost of all of Dexter's health, essentially 4 points of HP as he peels back into the bomb site. Bomb will be scooped up on the retreat here. Expect the Mongols to join forces.
Yeah, Dexter is trying his hardest to be everywhere right now, and he's got to do that. I mean, I think I remember when, like, his debut game when he joined OG, they played against Na'Vi, and then he was trying his hardest to, like, out-op Simple, and he was getting away with it, that Mirage game. He is somebody who, he's got a chip on his shoulder no matter who he plays. And when he was coming up in Tier 2, was making an incredible groundswell of sort of news around him about what team he would join. Oh, but in this game, again, it's not just one player. That's the problem. It's 5.
Yeah. You know, Dexter, speaking of chips on his shoulders, still is that piece that took Spirit into the Antwerp playoffs.
Yeah.
And from there, had to watch that team go on in different forms with further success. Took a quite extended leave of absence from professional play. And jumps back into the server with Heroic. So yeah, I definitely think he does feel as though he needs to be the all and everything. Blitz, however, the mastermind, sits over towards the B site once he sees there's nothing here. Maybe he doubles back to clear it. Maybe Heroic get away with at least saving the M4 and the MP9. But regardless, it's Mongols doing what they do.
And when the Mongols burst onto the scene, they were already compared to European-style CS. That was the first compliment that people had for them. Well, now we know that all those compliments were 100% true and real, and there's no other way to put it. They have a lot of range as a unit. Oh, ammo's low. 910 takes advantage of that. Clean sweep here. Heroic all dead. 2K apiece on each. And the full buy comes in for the Mongols. They're the ones who are just waiting for the test. Heroic are sort of like Liquid in the way that they had an amazing debut, then atrophied quickly. Heroic actually atrophied so fast, it was just after the Copenhagen RMR earlier this year that things started to go south. Since then, the closest they've got was this Thunderpick World Championship, and at least have bounced back a little bit on their form.
Couple moments of promise in Rio as well, right?
And I think people really believe in them coming into the stage. That's one thing I'll say. Because yes, Rio had some great maps.
Easy pickups versus unupgraded pistols. You're not going to pull this one over the Mongols. We've been watching them for an entire stage of the major, and it feels like, you know, those kinds of rounds, those sorts of moments, if Heroic have any fight in them tonight, they're going to come by USPs.
I mean, they shook Mouse. They shook Mouse and Mirage. You know, that was an undeniable map of play. That was a game where Torzi out-opt 910 6-0, and 910 still top fragged and got more kills on his team. Regardless, he could have had 30 plus if not for Torzi, and he still found a way to have so much impact.
Guns immediately out. They go for the top mid float smoke. Kicksand plays behind it, peels back before it fades. It's Mongols left to their own devices, shifting around the map as they please.
Oh, we've got Shush as the ticket player. I think his form has been a little quick questionable, and I say that out of love. Shush, definitely one of my favorite anchors. I think he's figured out the best way to play B-site Vertigo. Maui mentioned to me that on an Ancient, he's been struggling a bit anchoring on that map, but in general, he's Mr. Protocols. Here on Ticket, let's see if he can get some value out of this position.
Incendiary in his back pocket. For a jack of all trades.
Yeah, he doesn't have a smoke.
Doesn't have many tools. And so he still holds on to the one he does. 35 seconds. That will be valuable, and there it goes.
That's a back triple molly to delay. Nerfs gets a kill.
It's a big one. Techno trying to jump into the connector pressure. They're going to plant 4 connector side. Blitz runs that risk, gets away with it. Into the post plant. They'll go with an empty-handed ticket player on the side of Heroic.
Yeah.
It's an easy ticket to leave, boys, but Heroic try to force the issue, and Techno pinch between players is ultimately dropped. Blitz isn't able to trade immediately, and that opens a door for the Tessis multi-frag. What was the 2v4 turned even.
Would have loved to have a kit here.
Tessis crosses over, and as he taps that bomb once, neither player's going to bite on it right away. They do slide out together. They confirm that Nertz is on top of the stairs, and it's brought down to the clutch.
He's got
Nertz drops, and like you said, no kit. A kit would have made a difference. Heroic, they concede, and Mongols 4-1 lead.
Yeah, and Nertz, he ends up dying as well. Blitz, job done with the taps. And you can see the confidence in those taps, knowing that the round is finished. It's a clean start and a quick one at that. About 10 rounds have passed. And they've already proved a lot. This is great use of the extra player here in Techno to duel. You never want to get too crowded up in regular post-plant positions and allow the CTs to take a lot of space back and then punish you really hard in the exit. Sometimes you just want to thin them down so much that any bits of utility are gone. There's no chance to actually retake, even if they can pretend to try. So for Saw, I mean, this is a moment to try to prove they've got, you know, if Stanislaw can make it to the elimination stage with the lineup that he did, which is a very unlikely team to make it, you got to say the pieces on Heroic are actually very promising. Kickstand is very promising IGL, Dexter is very promising Opper, Shush is very promising Anchor, and Saw, if, you know, with what happened on Ents, obviously that can be a Zonic glaive device type situation. That can be something that happens because they had all 6 of the right people on the same project at once. But what Saw's trying to do right now is what Blade has done with the amount of Na'Vi iterations, different IGLs, different Oppers, different players. He's coming onto this Heroic to show his range. And I think you can't argue he doesn't have really strong pieces. I didn't even bring up Nertz because he's consistently the best player on this team. He's not even promising. He was Rookie of the Year.
Ooh. What do we have here? Dexter with a cheeky ticket pickup. Peeks through middle, finds a good timing on Senzu, pops his head. And that is an untradeable frag for Mongols. So facing a 4v5 down to the minute mark. Going to keep Dexter a little more boxed in, denying him any further vision towards the catwalk, but because there's nobody from the CTs in window, in ladder, or even to pressure Con, it is an easy cut through catwalk. It really banks on this Nertz moment inside of the bomb site. It's the most really that Heroic can bank on, barring that one scout on the other half of the map, which did at least open up. Tesses, any attention, any blood you can draw, this is everything, because Nertz is still stoic in the corner of that bomb site. 910 gets the back turn to him, but that's going to force Mongols now to move a little faster, and they could let this go. He slides out, reveals himself, and the clutch falls down to the Opper. 15 on the clock. Oh, the positioning's good, but the shots are better. They flank up behind him, and Heroic pull off the miracle.
Not bad, man. Not bad. Call it a miracle, but it comes down to that. Tessis, Deagle. Perfect crosshair placement, perfect peaks. And the scout shot helps out a ton too. Of course, makes it a lot more scary when it's a 5v4 on the anti-eco, but look at this second. Boom. It's not even a flick, just extremely good positioning and peeking.
Just a tidbit of panic sprinkled into the Mongols' approach, and Heroic make the most of it. Tiptoeing through a minefield in that last round, and they make the wrong step. Shush looking to carve a path forward into the ramp. He's working here with Tesses. The 2 Danes left, and the trade comes out of him.
1 for 1 is okay, but because we see such a heavy right side lean, if the Mongols try to speed up towards this side of the map, they'd pay for it. Sneaking window is a nice idea.
But it's Blitz versus Nertz in a critical head-to-head on jungle. Meanwhile, all his pieces are falling around him. He's the only one to end up finding any kind of an opening, but all the while, 910 still smoked out of both sides of Con.
See how they ended up still going A. They really wanted to follow up on that kill, thinking it's an A ramp push, maybe one guy window. but instead there's still 2 players plus Nerds. Now in the 2v3, it's a reroute, and you can see how quickly they're moving. Let's see what Blitz can make in this round.
Dexter. Dexter's on the line, misses the shot.
Don't fall out of the sight. If they allow a plant in this spot, that's kind of tragic, honestly, and they haven't seen the bomb cross, so you've got Heroic being patient.
Gives up the position in the apartments. Right. Instead, he's going to go for the cap plant, and that means Blitz is able to exit, but you're now banking on a 13 HP Blitz.
And you got the op, you know, now it's the T-side op that's in favor.
Still inside of it, but it is a good angle on the door, and it's an easy first kill for 910. The nade, it softens him up. That would have killed Blitz straight up. 910 remains on site, and this big flank from Blitz. What is this play?
How did he get here?
He left so long ago. There is no chance they will ever turn around to check this.
And it's a cat plant. He has to walk around.
It is a masterminding position from Blitz, but he doesn't stop the defuse. So well positioned.
He had the angle,
but the execution fails.
I mean, we saw it with X-Ray, but I'm pretty sure he had vision, right?
I believe so.
I'm pretty sure he had vision on the dome right there. Could have locked that down. That's unbelievable that he even tried this.
Yes, he sees him.
Ooh. Whew. That would have been a moment, man. What a move, honestly. I mean, the fact that they even figured out the cat plant was viable in the 2v3 without having info on 2 other players, and then he pulled that play off because he was so sure that no one was retaking from mid. That alone is scary, but for Heroic, they got their 3rd round. I think when you picture it, 910's the one who plants.
Yes.
You think that it's planted against the missiles for Cat.
I was thinking the exact same thing. Yep.
So he probably didn't assume he could get that vision.
Thought he had to go for the wider swing on bench as he does.
Plus he had 19 health, so essentially 1 second too late on the 10-second flank.
Hearts pounding in a long flank like that with such little health.
Oh, careful of Halls right now. Careful of Halls.
They're going to charge out into the A site. Shush locks it in with 1. He's got the support of Dexter, and now it's Heroic starting to thrive a little in this bomb site. Everybody drops with not a single answer. The cleanest round out of Heroic since the pistol.
Not bad. They covered that line extremely well, and that's something where you pull a smoke out at the wrong second, both players can die, but very solid stuff. And Mongols, again, it's the variety that has been the most impressive on their Mirage. T-sides, whether it's the fast A hits, the slow mid defaults, the burst to Cat, and then the pause.
4 Deegs spread across the Mongols to try and take a chunk out of Heroic here as the game gets tied at 4, but it's no chance. Not happening. As fast as a fight as the A hit the round prior, and just as empty-handed they each fall. Heroic with a marked improvement so far on Mirage since their last showing in this head-to-head nearly 1 month ago.
A lead is impressive. Dexter at the top is a good sign. I think there was just something about them winning the first map and Mongols having single digits in that Thunder Pick series that would have, I think that made everyone believe that this was Heroic's time to actually pick up a chip this year. And then it got taken away from them. 2 stomps back-to-back on maps 2 and 3. Oh.
910.
A damage counts for something, and it slows down this attack.
You got that looming threat of the wallbang too, and you've got Blitz at the moment just operating on his own towards middle, but he does get good timing on the jump up, doesn't win the fight. Nerds technically still flying. Dexter locks in the line. That frag grenade finishes off 910 as the op had started with damage. Nerds given a chance here inside B, surrounded by capable players. Now Heroic online across the board. 2-round lead And a solid CT half starting to kind of come to fruition.
Yep, that's right. TeSS as well, individual form. He took a little time as an IGL, as an interim IGL on Heroic, and I think took some lessons from that, and I think he's actually developed quite a lot as a player. Someone who likes to play hard spots on CT, take angles that others wouldn't. The triple nades into the window. Oh, somehow Nerd stays alive. Oh, one nade missed.
Now decides to peek in. Took a lot of damage off that, but still just laying down util as he fades back and sets up a crossfire with TeSS. Smoke grenade's gonna help him out. Oh, and TeSS finds that kill up inside of the window. Very nice tethering off of one another here. And not just this round versus the lesser guns, but the one round prior to. This B-side defense, immovable at the moment.
Oh yeah, wow. Growing with power by the round. They have really slowed down the Mongols. Heroic could stun here in Shanghai with a 3-0 off the elimination stage as a team that did not play the opening stage. And also as a team that you would think they're not like a 3D Max, where so they have a better chance of actually consistently doing what they did the
Of course.
But they still may have benefited from playing the opening stage, as I'm sure Mongols did as well.
Heroic certainly proving that
the auto sniper is out for sure.
What?
The auto sniper.
He's 4 and 5. And he buys an auto.
Wow.
In the final round of the half.
Okay, no skin, nothing.
Some people just want to see the world burn. Didn't know Shush was like that.
He's like you, man. He plays to win.
If we're all lucky, he'll see nothing in the meantime. Of course, good highlight here from our observer team. There are rifles for the rotate if he's called over to the B retake, which is certainly
it comes down to him in a 1v1 with this gun. Kicks and takes out Senzu on the lurk. Oh, off shot in, bomb spotted.
Not making moves. Not getting into this B site, no chance. They do hit the ground at the very least, finally able to peel one defender off, but Dexter's here to post a multi-frag, soften up Blitz as he did in the last round. Everybody that steps forth towards that scope, towards that B site gets stuff.
Wow.
They win pistol, lose to a force, and we think the Mongols have it in the bag. 4 rounds straight for the Mongols and nothing since.
Yes, this is potential realized. Potential means nothing without results like these. This is Heroic showing what this roster can do with Dexter at the top of the board, opping as he is. Very strong performance here from their star opper.
He was the force to be reckoned with at the very start of that half, playing with the M4 over towards Ticket, right? And we were talking about how Dexter can do it all, how he thrusts himself into that sort of position, and we saw it. Hell, we were talking about Palace pushes from Dexter, and he ends the half in a completely different version of himself, just hard line opping on B. Didn't get bested by 910. And yesterday when we talked about Maus and Torsi on the other side of 910 having a phenomenal game as an op, despite losing 6 head-to-head duels to Torsi, 910 still finished that map plus 20 frags, was phenomenal. This time, Dexter is the only op presence in the server.
It'll have to be a CT side comeback here for the Mongols. Their map choice.
The most lopsided. Oh, jail time.
No, that's a decoy. Okay, that's a decoy. That's a felony offense.
Oh, God. Oh, peek out a Blitz, doesn't win the duel. And already TeSS disrespects that smoke in order to get onto the bench, but he doesn't clean up his kill. Luckily, you've got Dexter still running. And he's got Shush behind him to set up shop inside that A site. 4v2 advantage in the pistol. Dexter just continues to pop them all across this map.
They're frying.
Another multi-frag moment. And Heroic sprinting to a finish on Mirage.
They're frying. Hot oil.
My favorite thing about Dexter is how he just keeps that dial cranked to a 10.
Yeah, he tries to get into position. I think he wakes up every day, hops out of bed, puts his pants on with both feet and says, I'm going to win, you know? And sometimes he trips. He can only get one leg in and he falls, but he goes for it every single day.
Kind of guy who finishes his plate of breakfast and then smashes it on the floor.
Smashes the plate, doesn't clean the plate.
Eats the glass.
Yeah. Leaves it for someone else to clean up. That's Dexter energy.
Yells from the mountaintops and leads the charge. 19-6, a phenomenal first map for a player with undeniable promise.
Eats a Carolina Reaper and slaps himself.
Oh, nerds.
What?
He just lines it up, dude. That's insulting. And these pistols in the corners of the B site will find nothing. Despite stacking up, it's a Senzu Deke to keep the hope alive. And honestly, with the tagged up TeSeS, things could have gone a little better. But meanwhile, the A site just gets shredded by Nerds on his own. They keep the AKs up in Heroic. 10-4 advantage. Mongols nowhere to be found.
Isn't it so funny? Of all the surprising results that we've had so far in the stage, Na'Vi losing MIBR, Mongols beating Maus, this one might be the most surprising somehow.
In a way.
Okay, maybe MIBR beating Na'Vi is a little bit harder to beat. But at this point, after the games, after G2 getting beat by the Mongols, after Maus getting beat by the Mongols, you would think no way that it would be Heroic, the ones to stop them. This is a great draw for them. A team they've already beaten in the grand finals, a team that they are in an even better form for the rematch. This is the draw they wanted in the 2-0 match. And here we are, Heroic on 10. Oh, but for how long?
Yeah, stop talking about Mongols like they're dead. We're talking about a Mongols that hasn't dropped a match thus far in the major cycle.
I'll tell you this.
Has dropped a map.
Even if Heroic get through this, every other team in this stage is hoping that Mongols just get through now.
That's fair.
Right?
You know, we talk about the Mongols kind of over time throughout 2024, stepping it up one notch at a time, going back to Cologne and being called noobs as they did bomb out and kind of crumbled under pressure. And at times we have seen Mongols crumble under pressure.
Yeah, sure.
It's just that they've had so much runway and they've been on all of our radars for so much time now that any doubt has been proven wrong by their following event. There's just been this natural, gradual progression in success for the Mongols. But 2-0 on the brink of a major playoffs, all of a sudden those dark demons can creep back into the back of your heads.
Yeah, and we did see nervous moments in the Maus game too. I'm not sure I see them like necessarily nervous right now. I'm really looking at this game and seeing Heroic are playing extremely well, which is always a nice thing to be able to say as you're casting a game. But that being said, if Mongols don't at least make this close on a map like Mirage that they're good at, then...
Well, here's one.
Yeah.
Zinio's able to stop bomb at 10 seconds. It's a little awkward. Luckily, Shush gets the other kills. There is still an unaccounted for CT. You better pick that bomb up, bud. TeSeS will indeed undeniably plant. But here comes Senzu. Deagle shot in, just lays out Dexter. TeSeS has not moved ever since putting down that bomb. The Mongols looking to just sprinkle in at least one exciting moment throughout these lesser buys. From the top of stairs, slips in clearing corners, spotted out by the ticket player, faced by TeSeS, who just needed the info. He gets 2 kills this round as well, and goes up to a 16-6 scoreline.
Yeah, classy performance from TeSeS.
Nerds and Dexter.
They're standing on the doormat here of victory on map 1. Heroic. They've still got none of the Mongols players over 10 kills yet. No heroes today.
And when I bring up kind of like the shakiness and potential nervousness, I don't see it in their play either. You know, a very minute mistake by Blitz, so be it. But it's just not that raw impact.
The 50-50 duels are 60-40 for Heroic. Maybe there's a couple of bullets. If they were sharper, they'd be hitting them like they were in their other games. But at the moment, yeah.
And round by round, it starts to slip further away from you. It's not as though, okay, we've lost our what was 4-1 lead. This map, is on the brink of being over.
Yeah. This is the kind of map you end confused. How could we have played that better? Blitz will find this one.
Oh,
my way he found that. That was amazing.
He did. Yeah, he does.
That's perfect visualization of the default, right? He knows exactly who's going to try to punish him as he leaves, and man.
I was about to say
visual.
that Mirage is going to be over, and the best thing we're going to have to talk about the Mongols was that really cool decision from Blitz to rotate all the way around in the B post plant and nearly win. And when the best thing you can highlight is a near win, you've got problems. But guess what? Versus Mouse, round 23 and 24, Blitz is the guy who at the final hurdle stepped it up and pushed Mongols to OT to activate everybody else. Scoreline, not nearly as close, but a beautiful 2K in middle on his own, need I add. And Mongols suddenly have a slight uptick. You've won a convincing gun round, assuming these last 2 Ts, just let it fizzle out and save. Is this going to be another instance where Blitz gets the party started?
Yeah. It's like, I don't know if you can call Blitz like the best fragging IGL. Of course, there are some maybe stronger examples, but maybe the best IGL that can frag, in a sense, in terms of how quality his team's play is, on top of how much he's a part of it on an individual basis. And, you know, at moments we can say the same thing for Kixen, but all right. Let's see if any other kills go down. Flash a little bit far. Dexter will defend himself. 22 up, keeps the op alive.
That guy will hang on to his op for eternity.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean when you say, you know, best IGL who can frag.
It's
there are other games and other fragging IGLs that I think when games go south, they kind of hit that wall where their individual level coincides with a poor result, a blowout. He's not like that. Blowouts, you could still bank on Blitz to try and do something somewhere. We saw it in the last round, and we're going to have to see it again this time because he sits in bottom middle on his own, peels back, and there's a bit of a chase queued up. But they don't come pile driving through that smoke just yet. And in those few seconds, Heroic offer over to the Mongols. They do indeed evacuate mid.
You know, the Mongols love to take over mid-late on T side. Let's see how well they can defend against it.
Getting up capped, exposing your back to Blitz.
Well.
Doing great damage through smokes in these last 2 rounds. It's another double kill without even needing to see them. And 9-10 sends an op shot through. Insult to injury. Mid, despite not seeing your enemy, feels closed.
They said we're not going to be fooled here. We know that you're trying to pop through this. And even though those are smoke spams, they're actually pretty easy. It's just a matter of timing, if you can time it correctly, and they knew exactly when to do it. Heroic take a lot of damage on that cross. And honestly, there was still enough support inside of B to stop the rest of that attack from coming down. It's interesting how little people are playing inside of ladder room these days. Feels like that's become more of a liability for the CT side than anything else.
Still taking a little glance at top mid, but the window peek, that's the one that confirms Dexter's on his own now. If Bomb wasn't up on Arch, sometimes Dexter, I'd say, is just crazy enough to send one of these. But looking to hang on to the big green. Very critical save, as it was in the last round. What? He's what? Am I watching? Fights fire with fire, and still nearly pulls that off. One of a kind.
Yeah, would have been. Nothing changes if he gets that kill, but it clearly was a play that could have worked. Oh, 24 and 8.
He saves his op at least.
What's scarier than that? Just a fire golem running at you. Well, not so scary for 9-10 apparently.
There we go. What could have changed, Mo, is that op gets saved and maybe they have it here. You know, he would have gotten through with enough health in 2 seconds.
You take the Dexter with the Dexter, right?
What are you going to do? Tell the guy that's 24 and 8 to play different?
Don't be yourself.
Hey.
No.
I really think you shut up.
You just tell me to shut up?
Not you. I'd never.
Yeah. It's like telling Slip and Jimmy to stop cutting corners. You can't do that.
Nuh-uh.
That's why he does the best job.
Sometimes it be like it is. Nothing to work with in this one, not even a flashbang, so they'll send a man flying into the open. Blitz says thank you, I'll farm alongside 9-10. And honestly, just a moment of respite here for the Mongols. They can catch their breath versus unarmored pistols. Been hanging on by the skin of their teeth thanks to Blitz. Those two essential multi-kill moments in middle once they finally had guns for this CT side. Whether that was finding the frags at the top of mid and then just shying away, or even allowing Heroic to make their move up cat and timing it to perfection. He's got it pictured. He's got it figured out. The only problem's Heroic's that damn close to the finish line.
Yeah, and you can tell they just don't really worry about how many rounds they're down, how many rounds they're up. They just keep playing the right rounds, and I think Blitz, more than any other individual on the team, proves that with how focused his aim is in moments where they're close to losing. If he dies, it's over, but he still pushes mid. He still takes the risks they need to take. So Heroic, they don't have a free game here. They do have Dexter in peak form, and I will say rare form, because most of his maps, again, very parabolic in terms of his performances. You can't always rely on him, but this is a game where you need him, and he's there. If he has a couple of good rounds by himself, he's at that level that he can win by himself. Now Heroic, they missed the
not a decoy.
Yeah, they missed the window smoke. Missed the window smoke. Oh, won't matter apparently.
Nerds finds 9-10 down an underpass. Dude, what a risky business to be setting up. With Heroic on the brink of 12, the Mongols send their Opper into his demise. There's this jungle A-lean, and at the moment, honestly, the Mongols still putting themselves in the right spot. The fall back from underneath from Malzinho. He's trying to keep himself up. He swings wide. Nerds actually burns inside connector. Look at the damage that's been done.
Well, they're already at the summit of the mountain. Why not make it a little bit more fun? 2 players left to retake this to defend against 12 rounds. They're in interesting spots, but they have no idea where all these T's are.
You know that all these Heroic players, by the nature of low health bars, are just going to want to keep themselves in corners. Molotov will indeed find one. Going to be very difficult to get Kixan out of there, but you are eventually flanking through Palace with a kit, a smoke, a flash, and this is Senzu serving up a phenomenal distraction. He's going to jump on top, and nobody else is watching.
There's no one to
Techno! He gets on top, only the ramp player can stop him! And he gets it! Dancing on their corpses! Techno robs the round!
How do you like that, Pete? No way. And if he didn't defuse on that angle that was actually open to CT, he would have got spammed down. Smoke blooms at the perfect time. And Techno robs one away. And not just robs one round that's cute. No. Robs one to make it 8-11. To push Heroic into another timeout. To save the economy of the Mongols. And the man who was 2-14 before that round started now has a key round to his name. And what could be a comeback? That's 4 straight here.
I think Senzu did such a phenomenal job of even just causing the distraction that lets you just let your guard down. All those shots out from jungle kind of just, it felt like he himself was playing haphazardly.
But you think about that, even if there was a player in CT spawn, if they got the kill, they would have been able to defuse. That was, Heroic didn't even post plant where they planted, They didn't even play in spawn. They didn't play left side site. They had pushed out through window, through A ramp, I think too overconfident that the round was over. And of course, that's what it looked like. That's what it looked like for a second. They're going to have to take that on the chin and forget about it quickly, because they're still in the game, they're still in the lead. It might not feel like it, though. First kill, the Mongols.
Gut-wrenching reality for Heroic to have to stomach, but SS at least, that's the kind of clean kill to draw one back.
It's even the way you're talking about it. It's like, it doesn't even feel like they're in the lead all of a sudden. Oh, but they're still fragging.
Yeah. Shush gonna kick it up a notch. Blitz steps forward, dies to Shush, his second, and you're not gonna get away from the window. Again, they are so close to the brink of victory. Whoa. One smoke fades. Luckily, there's a second layer.
Okay, how's he gonna defuse this one? Well, the streak comes to a close now. Actually, credit to Heroic for not getting shaken by that. They picked up like nothing ever happened.
Luckily, Soft calls that final timeout.
True. Yeah.
Insta timeout.
Yeah, true. That's a good use of a time now.
Swallow your pride, stomach the loss. Fixate on the next one. And it is some clean headhunting coming out of the Danes for Heroic in round 20.
Oh, they'll need this. They'll need this. Oh, he doesn't touch Senzu.
Swept away.
He thinks he's getting swung on, and that is a full kit of utility, armor, and an op out of this round.
Yeah, the only saving grace is Senzu has $9,000. Everybody else on his team was broken, but that's at least some kind of a cache of money to offer over.
We'll see if that translates to 3 guns and no utility, or if they're going to... I don't even think that he can do that unless we're doing an MP9 in there. So we'll see if he buys himself an op and just goes for one of the rifle. I think that's probably a good call.
Just perfect headshots coming out of Heroic.
Yeah, they're pretty much scrimming this map now. Yeah. Like, they look like they're opened up. Form looks solid. Everyone's shooting. Not just Dexter that they're relying on.
Unlike the round that they let that defuse slip away, their kills are so convincing in the 20th. They take no damage back, so they don't hide in their post plant. They don't play it nervous. They flourish instead for 12. Dexter's gonna get softened up on his crossover to mid-box. He will be finished by Blitz, who's been a real nuisance for Heroic in setting up early success in mid. But there's a response as Kixan is able to draw a frag off 9-10. Down and underpass, he tries to face, and Blitz gets caught hopping up by Tesses, who has come alive alongside Dexter to be a difference maker with that rifle in these last 2 rounds. Shush just awaits a play from the young Malzinho. And he's got a teammate inbound soon enough. His leader looks to join him over here on ramp. The bomb is in tow as the 3rd piece. And while these CTs go for that cat stack, they are far removed from an A site.
They are. They're tied up in those resources. And right now with Mzinho here, not watching Palace, is taking a risk. They can walk out on the side of him. He'll probably try to push forward as they come out of halls if the bomb is in this position. As soon as Shush drops down, we're going to look at a reaction here from Mzinho. But again, no support for Miles.
Right in response to the flash.
And now
pops up as a player there. Oh, he gets away. Kixan's unable to punish. They're going to try to get that Molotov out. What do you do, Kixan? What nades do you throw forward to make this uncomfortable? How do they open a door for the other CTs to push the 5-7 out in mid? It's awkward, and it goes down. Nertz lurking out in mid, keeps both remaining players occupied, and inevitably that bomb goes down. Heroic, such convincing fashion in the first half, now playing with their food. Senzu chopped, and the Mongols fall. Heroic with a stark improvement on Mirage.
Yes, if Mongols are going to get to the promised land, they're going to have to take the scenic route. Not the start they would have liked there, but a very impressive statement win from...
3 maps in a series or 2 back-to-back maps in a series, that's not something we see very often from Dexter's current form right now on Heroic. But I think he's obviously rising to the circumstances of the major, of the chance to 3-0, of the chance to get revenge on Mongols. I think all these things are on his mind.
Right.
And you can tell he's fueled by that sort of championship mentality of like, I'm trying to win, and I'm trying to do it in the best way possible. And that's why he always gives us fireworks.
And quickly then, Launders, what about Tesses? Do you think he could bring the consistency from map 1 to 2?
I think he's just... matured so much in the past year and a half. I think he's definitely evolved from just a guy who plays, really difficult to play CT positions for above average stats. I think he's now actually a consistent output as a fragger. I think there's still some identity to be found, but in terms of raw duels, he is owning.
Now's the time to do it. Shush and Dexter, they catch 9-10. He looked the wrong way for a second. Senzu recovers. Luckily for Mongols, the numbers were there, and they'll even catch the canal push.
Interesting. Now, this means they could go back to B. Nertz is attempting the push, which is definitely the correct move in this spot, because he can shut this flank off, and he has great spots to fight from on the site.
But what do we have here? Blitz running in spawn with bomb, doesn't get heard.
Yeah, but he's going to flank someone.
Yeah, he's got the back of Nertz if he needed. Techno is actually just able to push that kill over the line. And now we're going to have to talk about Kixan, one of the in-game leaders that likes to thrust themselves into the middle of Anubis.
Sometimes within a machine gun.
Sometimes the Negev. Sure. You know, there are select few IGLs that like to kind of float up in here. Apex, I think, is another example of it.
You know what?
It's a lot of responsibility on your individual level. You have to bring that to the table, or else suddenly you have a gaping wound on either side of your bomb sites for the splits.
I mean, Mongols don't know it, but Shush had an auto sniper on that last round of Mirage.
Oh, true. It never shot, eh?
Never shot. So,
good.
You know, pull out that Negev right now here inside of middle and show us what you did last time, because all I saw was a great round.
Felt like a couple moments kind of slipped through Heroic's hands. TeSeS probably regretting going for that canal flank, or unfortunately for him, he was just about to catch a player outside A. Really wanted to remain adamant about trading out effectively. Good thing Mongols threw 3 players that direction. So it lets them lean into taking the pistol over the line. Flash into long this time with a 3-player A setup out of the gate. Heroic, they see something open for the taking. That's actually the Dark player dead, just spamming through. Nertz gets caught out by 9-10. And they see that as an invitation. Oh, man down. They'll try to slide up into Dark. TeSeS put the smoke down, but the T's get ahead of it, so that's not going to make them too uncomfortable. Couple that nicely with the double push on long that's being set up. And we were talking about a fully fleshed out Mongols split versus pistols on Heroic. But there's hesitation here. There's a pause as we near that 30-second mark. Then all of a sudden the commitment comes through, and it's a nice obelisk wrap from Blitz to really make sure nothing goes too south. Shush, flank empty-handed, force survive for the Mongols after pistol. It's a conversion they'll be proud of.
We've seen some subpar T sides on Anubis and some really good CT sides, actually, I think, in this stage. But I think this is a game where Mongols and Heroic will both have, you know, will both be shooting for the 8-4 halves, and their recent games will show that that's pretty par for them. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a game where we have a lead and a potential comeback from Heroic once again. And I think that's why they were particularly upset about the pistol. CT pistol being one of the easier CT rounds you can win. Can really shift the odds in a match like this that is sort of destined to go 24. So good start here for Mongols. Don't have to think about that.
Sea of USP spotted. They're going to try to reroute over towards B main. Fine by the Mongols. I thought that pre-match interview with James Banks and Techno just was valuable for insight and Techno, obviously mentioning how...
Didn't ask him about his name, though. You know, Stewie 2K is reference to Family Guy. What is... Because that's 2000, right? Stewie 2000.
Yeah.
What's Techno 4000? Which character is that on TV?
It's just him, man.
He is a character.
He's the guy. Guy who doesn't want to complain about the commitments that it has taken to rise to the top of Counter-Strike. He said, we've all got a career that we enjoy. Well, how can I complain about X, Y, Z? Time away from home, whatever.
They have made more money than most Tier 1 teams this year in terms of the tournaments that they've picked up. And a lot of those tournaments were made so that there's a place for, you know, the non-partnered, non-Tier 1 teams, a place for them to go to compete. And there are some very handsome prize pools available at those events. So it's been quite a successful year for the Mongols. And because of that, for Asia.
Takes her with the op, immediately posts it down canals. It was a rapid cross from Mongolz, so he doesn't end up spotting anything. It's actually lesser on A main. We've seen this player supported in the last couple rounds, but Shush being on his own this time opens the door for a comfortable 5v4 to emerge. Careful. Oh, missed shot from Dexter. That one's gonna cost them.
Wasn't ready for the shoulder peek. Thought it was gonna be a wide swing. Not anticipating him at all, but that wasn't the case.
Could have been the 4v4 right back.
Yep.
Instead, the Mongols will remain cautious on the approach back to the B play, and we get an instant transition from Dexter out of that half of the map to now try to pick up slack in mid.
Yeah, however, the lean starts to go back towards mid. Interesting, Mzinho's actually reading the double push with no nades, and yeah, he is going to spot this. He gets them to shoot each other, now they're scared. Kind of like how he was playing that, and he's behind the molly now too. Oh, never trust a CT molly, folks. They're never as big as you think.
So Incendiary down in dark at the time being on the B site. They will lose their camera split. Tesses is hanging on, and he's doing this on his own. He's done enough to draw the rotate, and a beautiful dodge of 910's jail clear. It buys a little more time, but not nearly enough. They actually opt, instead of coming in through Temple, to go for this double long rotate instead. Smoke in front of Temple means it is the right call. They can keep this tempo we see right here, right now. But Mongols also push a player into Temple themselves. Eventually, there's going to be this backstabbing to Nerds that he is certainly not going to see coming. But will there be anybody left to distract for it?
Surely
Senzu walks out. Two backs turn. Beautiful setup. His teammates draw them forward, and he ends them where they stand.
Mess with the Senzu, you get the beans. Been waiting a long time to use that line. Didn't want to use it for an actually great moment.
And I appreciate that. Leave those ones for me.
I mean, you said instant transmission. That's also a Dragon Ball Z reference.
Oh, you picked up on that. Hell yeah. I forgot you watch cartoons.
No way you just said cartoon. Okay.
Walks out through smoke. Oh, the smoke not enough to deter 910. Guess what? AK comes. Yeah, you thought that 5-7 flurry was going to keep him back, but he's got teammates. And this isn't the kind of buy to just scoff at either, right? Shush actually had a chance to maintain a little map control or set up a kill with SMGs elsewhere on the map, but now A site's such a liability that honestly it looks like they're just going to cut their losses if Mongols do continue to carve a route onto A. Seeming likely as the heaven smoke comes out. The bomb's still floating on bridge. Really feels like Mongols in the moment are not going to fall victim to making mistakes themselves. If there's a pop-off from Heroic, you gotta deal with it. But tiptoe your way through the sketchy spots, and they're doing it with caution. But that caution leads to timing for Heroic. They do end up throwing 3 bodies down from camera, and Dexter peels one off with just the pistol. They let the CTs get away from mid. The utility was an indication of what was to come. And when Heroic run over, they waste no moment. Techno almost caught by the camera peek, losing half his HP. The follow-up's there from Tesses. And as he swings out, he'll be dealt with. Beautifully done from Techno, clearing out the middle. And now A is theirs for the taking.
Yeah, and surely after seeing 2 mid-cross that way, they know there's at least one on the B site. They're still looking around just in case it was a full stack, but they've got a clean plant coming in. So, I gotta love how Mzinho has been working this side of the map. I feel like it's interesting to watch him take some of these fights knowing that they're going to walk peek it, knowing that he doesn't have to shoulder peek himself and risk any timings. He can just hold the angle, literally, and if they throw any utility, he's right. It's almost never going to be a pop flash to the shallow part of main. So you're always going to be able to see something if you're already breached in brackets and can hope for the push. Very interested to see how much more he tries to do that. But why use utility when you don't have to? Oh, that was a straight bullet. Oh, they've got the CS2 case there. Is that for everyone's phones? That'd be cool.
It's been there all major long wonders.
Wow. I'm just not very detail-oriented. Watching you play Elden Ring has really made me realize I need to read more.
That nose to the grindstone.
But that means there's always more Easter eggs for me to find later in life that everyone else has noticed.
Living with lag, it's not half bad.
I'm just on high ping over here, Connor.
It's the NA way. Full buy for Heroic. We saw Dexter miss that chance through Darkroom. And I want to put him under the microscope just because of how good Mirage was. You did a good job of explaining why it's inconsistent at times. That was his highest performing map in the Heroic jersey, for the record, back on Mirage. You would hope for his sake, after an accolade like that's been achieved, you could do it map to map. But there's never guarantees with Heroic at the moment.
Yeah, he was a little bit faster to start, but I think most of his good rounds came later anyway, so...
Ooh.
It's not time to call it just yet.
Smoke in front of platform for TeSeS. That's both the CTs inside of this B site burning their smokes at a minute 10.
Yeah, this is still a full default though from the Mongols. Like they've got Mzinho still out here working towards a main. Bomb's actually crawling back. So Techno, he's in an interesting spot because he can lurk on the full A attack or they can bring it back to B, but they haven't made a decision yet, clearly.
Dark player's already peeled back. Nert's now playing the pillar instead. TeSeS reveals himself to still be up on platform, and Dexter waits for this one.
Yeah, late into mid. Bomb's coming in even more staggered. 9-10. He wants to continue. He's going to drop down, surely.
Head-to-head op duel if he doesn't.
Yeah.
So, of course, he will take the evacuation route into the B bomb site. They'll attempt to go with Techno half health, and CT's having bolstered this bomb site, 2 behind the obelisk. TeSeS still back there. They know it, and it serves up a perfect distraction for Nertz. Now there is indeed a rebound. Somewhat the T's bounce back in.
No way,
a
2v5
inside of sight with 1 kill left to take.
Now it's got to be Shush all alone.
The positioning looked great.
You couldn't ask for better spots.
A chance to finally break through. Shush now having to slip in between both of them. It all boils down to his timing. He will indeed kill Techno over towards long first and foremost. The step back from 9-10's the ender. 2v5.
6 straight rounds out of the Mongols, and after Dexter got that kill inside of middle, with the amount of time left over, it felt like a foregone conclusion, but instead, 9-10 dropped into dark, and he had the right teammate alive with him to get these kills. That's pretty unreal, man. And again, you couldn't ask for better spots. Wow. Heroic were just throwing bodies at the problem because why not?
Mzinho laughing his way to a 6-0 lead. It felt like Heroic, it felt like they were on the burner of the stovetop, but it was down at like a 2 out of 10.
You don't need every round on the CT side, but you need that round.
Felt like a comfortable simmer. They boil over the edge out of nowhere, and Mongols, they're going to start putting Heroic into a desperate place where big moves have to be made. And these kinds of big, risky moves in the mid-round, as we're seeing outside A, will that actually reward Heroic? Mzinho turns, and he's covered by Techno.
Perfect.
Now, Shush wasn't alone, set up by Dexter, who is going to be playing extended and could easily deal with the low HP of Mzinho. Not able to get the second.
Now,
not able, but look at this position for Nertz. Isn't this a golden chance? He at least stops plant.
Wait, he doesn't actually know someone's above him?
No, the Bricks player should have caught him off. Oh, Nertz! From silence in the bomb site to an explosive 3K Heroic find their first.
Got those perfect swings. Those perfect swings. Oh, big mistake, not clearing this simple position. How did they get above him? No one saw. Well, that's like Heroic off of that ninja defuse round on Mirage. Unshaken. Unbothered. And crazy round to win. This is a round with tempo. They saved.
Nice approach.
Man. So that's a demo kill. You approach certain players differently on how they hold their pushes.
Plenty of recent game tape for Heroic to have studied coming into it. Mongol's been playing events left, right, and center. Just to repeat our pregame, 13-11 4 weeks ago between these teams on Anubis. Heroic playing catch-up at this point. Nerds flash back in, but Blitz is there to help his teammate, to keep him alive.
Committed really hard to that fight.
And then the Dark player spots TeSeS, who now they know is relegated to behind Obelisk, who's definitely calling for rotations and does get one. Kixan emerging from Temple for a moment, but then it gets smoked off and he decides to dive out. Gonna play behind sight with his teammate, both him and TeSeS here for the duel. Mzinho looking for the taps. And as he pushes further into the site, it's TeSeS to go down first. They know that Kixan's here and he's feeling squeezed. He had to make a move.
Incredible at fighting that. I'll always say that it doesn't matter how many players you have on the B site. It's hard to find good positions to put everybody. But here's another situation where Heroic have numbers, they have information. They just cannot even win a single duel. And the two players that were there were in good spots to try to frag. Mzinho took a risk as well, using a lot of ammo, going for the pre-fire to back default, then had to swing and ensure the kill with almost no ammo left. Mongols 7-1.
Off the back of that clean move from Nerds outside B. It's not the first instance where it looked like Heroic. We're going to push one over the line.
Yeah.
Mongols got that dog in him.
Very strong. Very strong Anubis at the moment.
And Blitz, this is the perfect bit of cover to keep his teammate standing over on long with him. And we get 2 moments of duos in this 4vX situation out of Mongols. We saw Blitz save on the Nerds long push. And then it was Mzinho who was trying to tap and elicit an answer of any kind out of the Heroic players for anybody to commit to a fight so that everybody else could just pounce on it. And it did feel like Heroic kind of drew that out comfortably until suddenly it's these duos that hit you on both sides of the split.
You know, in that tier 2, tier 1.5 type of area of teams that Mongols have played most of their games versus, they are scoring 60% on T side and CT side in their games, meaning whether this map is picked against them or not, they are totally fine. Normally teams are winning Anubis off the back of 60% T side and 48 to 50% CT side at best.
Priming Nerds for the deep peek, but that ops trained on you, so will they couple it with A main push? There's Molotov on the A main side, so maybe the 2 Dark defenders decide against it. 910 more than willing for you to try to get aggressive on the side of Canals. He actually turns to help out A main. Opens the door for Nerds to go for the deep peek because the ops no longer trained on him, and I think that's Heroic doing a good job of getting turned away the first time and still being adamant about coming out with this 2-side pinch in water. They're rewarded for their efforts into the 4v3, but we've seen this not matter.
They really wanted to push that.
They're going to keep going. They're going to keep this pressure up, but he goes so wide.
So wide.
TeSeS got places to go, things to do.
Ooh, I mean, that's a moment where Techno should have got one. Probably gets traded anyways. But now in the 4v2, I mean, it wouldn't be the first 4v2, but probably Heroic, will win this round.
Yeah.
Probably.
Placed up close like this, nobody's going to take a nade out. They don't have nades for it. There's a question about whether 910 commits to it. Money is not fantastic for the Mongols, and you'd think, of course, there's going to be a second defender here, so finally they got to let one go. And this is about remaining adamant despite things being responded to, right? We saw that first A main push get stopped by 2 Molotovs. They still come back in. 20 seconds later, and they're rewarded for their efforts.
Again,
Heroic establish an early advantage for their second round win.
Again, at the core of this map, there are two sites that it feels like are just hard to find aggressive options to defend safely. Are you just limited on how far you can push easily? And if the T's get E-box control and they have main, a really well-worked split is going to work a lot of the time, no matter how many players are there. This game is a perfect example. Heroic in 2 good spots, and then 2 more players come into those 2 good spots. There aren't really 4 that you can crossfire from easily. If you play jail and E-box is taken, it's really tough. If you're playing the E-box pillar and main is taken, it's really tough. So it just gets uncomfortable quickly. And that's why we're seeing Heroic try to expand to A main early, because even though that option sometimes doesn't work, it's one of your only options as a CT to make up for how cramped it gets. And there's an example of it working. There's still a 5-round half potential for Heroic. That's good enough. That being said, they'll need all 3 of these next ones to even feel good about this half, I think.
And we're getting into the rounds because of how lopsided it was out of the gate, where Heroic are the ones who have to make the moves. Playing in response wasn't cutting it. That's why we get that 4-player pressure on Canals 1 round to go. This time it's early bridge control taken over by the Mongols with this 3-player cohort, and no aggressive A main stance, despite all the rounds we've had shush, poke, and prod in that direction.
No,
this time he's just playing smoke for camera.
They've been successful now. They want to find another way to win the round, and sometimes it means expanding on the other side of the map, and they do have slightly deep main presence with Dexter. That alone can help. At least have, Tixan lean B most of the time, so he can be a fast rotation, but they don't want to try one thing too often. And as you can see, Mongols are just waiting for them to try it so that they can come back and get the kills early. Looking for their B split. Will Heroic be able to read it? This is one of the situations where I think Kixan needs to make the mind read.
Yep, well, even that just gathers all the info. He actually pushes out alongside Shush into middle, sees it completely vacant. Do they pick the right bomb site, though? Obviously, 1/2 of this split gets cut down. Anything they can stall is great. Tess comes down to just the 1 kill, and Nerds will be found in the open. 9-10, the difference maker once more. Posted already for the rotate. 3rd kill, his easily. And the bomb gets picked up by Senzu. No contest to stop it. Shush is already locked into the open ground, and this will boil down to Dexter flanking fast. He's going to arrive, and he's going to deal with his counterpart first and foremost. This opens the door for Shush to get ever closer.
Now, these are standard spots, right?
Yes, sir, and one of them is going to be exposed to this wraparound, but Senzu cuts down Shush first. A little disjointedness. They're able to just fixate in on where they know Dexter has to come from, and it looks like the Mongols, despite being found out, their absence in mid doesn't cost them, because 5 players ready to hit B before Kixan makes his call.
Crazy impact out of 9-10, because I want to say, like, this is a round where Heroic could have done this better. But honestly, Nerds had to hit 1 extra bullet on 9-10, who was low. 9-10 had to peek out and pre-fire a position he knew was being held with 1 HP. 19 or whatever, 1 bullet of health. And he hit that shot.
You know, Tess also was pressure for 9-10. That's another impeccable shot. 9-10 snapping it over and dealing with a guy who just emerges out of smoke with 1 kill already.
That was good enough. Insane that he pulled that off. And with that goes the chance of making this a 5-round half for Heroic. 4 is definitely more desperate, but that's what they'll have to settle for. At least they've got a full buy.
Dexter rattles one off in middle as he gets flashed. There's an op on the field, and Mongols know it. (9-10) was an undeniable force versus Maus, despite Torji's best efforts to keep him muzzled. Now Heroic gets a taste of his wrath. Sat back in response to some kind of a move from Heroic, a Heroic who has been jostling around the map trying to make these openings happen. Trying to force their way into just a couple more round wins. Best case, only 4. Dexter,
Timing looks good.
side of his smoke, has the
Wait.
dodge flash,
Ooh.
gets the scope back into Blitz, but no second kill.
Crazy to re-peek into that, but how is he going to fall back?
They're priming the split into the A site. Of course, Temple already smoked off. Bit more util, but that one smoke misses, and that's going to open a door for Tesses to peek out in mid to try to cut off one half of this split. Meanwhile, the A main players get out, and that bomb gets scooped up by Mzinho, but
That
it's
nade?
incredibly low health for the 3 players, so guess what? It
Oh.
lands. And as it does, we go 2v2. Edges here for Heroic. 9-10 onto the fountain. Mzinho has to keep his head down. Oh, it's a beautiful headshot onto Nertz, and he tethers to perfection with 9-10.
They are playing this round like a violin. The great taps coming through from the Mongols. They get 9 rounds, and all the close moments go their way, just being a little bit better. Clearly mad about Mirage with this performance. Showing they can do it again, make it even worse here for Heroic. And now this will have to be one hell of a comeback.
Going to continue to buy down every time. And at least it's not a total blowout economically. Heroic, you got to make something happen. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that pressure get cranked. Kicksan, you've smoked off the front runner of Blitz.
Oh.
Nice bank nade for the background. Does a bit of damage for Techno. Chucking it beyond the bridge, but Blitz, snaps it down into his forehead. You've still got Dexter here, and he will hold if he has to.
What a shot.
Capable of doing it on his own. Turning from the flash with a teammate in the door, though, things get a little bit awkward, and Blitz peels back somewhat. Dexter's coming hunting. Oh, he's postured up with his teammate, and so he feels like he can run a risk. Yes, indeed. 3 kills to Dexter. It primes Nertz for the aggressive B push, and it's all Mzinho. He will peel Shush off camera, but he is not in possession of bomb. Dexter looking to make a world of difference in the final round of regulation, but he is nothing but the second victim of a young, promising Mzinho. No way he reads this third one. Nertz able to end it. It is a 3rd round for Heroic, all they get.
Just a little warning message at the end. Yeah, we can almost win that. So many strong openers for Heroic, let's say that. There's so many moments where it's 5v3, 5v2, 4v2, and yet still the Mongols were able to win. It's not as if Heroic couldn't have had a better half. There were definitely some good plays in there, but what happens in the end is something that I think Mongols were hoping for. Close rounds that all go their favor in, versus a team that has an extremely respectable Anubis. To take the edge off after getting crushed on map 1, just for a chance to show everybody that they're still good. The better team is in the lead, and normally their CT side is still solid, so there isn't really a reason why they should let go of this game. On paper, Heroic should have needed 5 on that CT side to make this possible. They can make up for it with a pistol. Let's see what they've got.
Looks like the Mongols want to fight early. Careful now, whole pack of players right out there primed to push in. 2 headshots out of Blitz, not half bad. Senzu behind Obelisk, peeling away, trying to section them off as Mzinho comes in with an assistance. All of Heroic, one direction, and a similar outcome to the first half. Mongols seemingly right back to winning ways. To make up for a short-handed CT side, this pistol seemed so needed. Kixan piecing it together as to where they're at. You've got a minute to try to reroute, but they have your bomb.
Yeah, like, best case is he could drop down to E-box, but I mean, if he's going to make no noise at all, then, flanking B is one thing. At least he can get them to reorganize. Time is on his side. There's just no numbers.
It's about that 40-second mark. One's going to turn around. There's a question about whether they decide to try and occupy Temple or just still sit on top of site with bomb.
It's just forcing them to have setups that have option coverage. Kixan crossing the 30-second mark.
He's done a good job of at least giving himself a 1vx. Peeks out, can't land the shot. If he does, the door becomes somewhat open, but instead you get more of what it started with. Nothing but excellence from US Peace.
Yes, so there's 10, and then that was what you'll call a critical pistol round for a chance for Heroic on this map. I think I'm going to go out on a limb and say we deserve an Ancient in a series like this. Again, this is the Grand Finals rematch between these two teams, and this one's for all the beans.
Grand Finals that also featured both teams winning their opponent's map pick. It's hard to put your finger on the pulse of this matchup.
You can be certain they both feel confident versus each other. I'm sure they both believe it's just a matter of whose day it is, more than who's got the better game plan. It's a good map pool here for both teams.
There's always that undercurrent of maybe somebody developing a completely fresh game plan off of your last head-to-head, but it doesn't look like anything that Saw and Kixan could have drafted for this matchup has really caught Mongols off guard, and the individual level is just also not there, because when we go back to Mirage, that's something that you mentioned, right? It didn't feel like Mongols were nervous per se, but Heroic's individuals were just playing so well, so many quick kills all the time. It's just not the case here, and it won't be with Deagles either. Senzu has a field day as he gets the anti-eco ace.
Someone's even looking at him as he wipes the floor with Heroic. 5 frags straight.
And that one's just for the HLTV stats. Go ahead and farm, my friend. One of the very few buys we may get out of Heroic on this T side of map 2. Let's see what they had drafted coming into this when they had hoped it would have gone better in the first half. Can't let that round count at the top of the board make you play timid. I think Mongols really embraced that mentality as they started to make the comeback happen on Mirage. Heroic have to show they have that depth as well.
Exchange volley of utility outside of A. The Nerds can see it coming.
It's a good position for Blitz. Kixan coming in on his own. Just, oh, wow, wow!
Oh, that's incredible.
Just tracks it as the utility came out from the support. He knew damn well 910 wasn't too far off.
That's incredible. That is such a hard fight to win just on Blitz alone as a solo rifler coming in on the off angle. But he has the right peak, knows exactly where Blitz is going to stand, and as you mentioned, heat-seeking bullets through the smoke.
With the Galil. They'll come reacquire their M4. Kixan tries to go in for number 3, but can't be mad about the damage.
And there's a late, oh man, I think it's a perfect round for Heroic. There's a late push on mid, plus low numbers here from CD side, and then the final trade comes through. You got Senzu getting flanked on low HP. This is an instant save call for Mongols. Perfect round for Kixan as in IGL, and again, one who in history we've always thought of as making very smart individual moves, can definitely hold his mouse in games and make some plays like that. That'll, well, turn your head.
Funnily enough, it's a parallel we can draw between these two teams, because we gave credit to Blitz versus Mouse to push OT. We gave credit to Blitz back on Mirage, those 2 rounds bottom middle, spamming away through smoke. Very comparable moments to what Kixan is able to put forth here in number 15. So 3 survivors for Heroic. It's a long journey back to tie this game, let alone win the map. But it's one that starts with their in-game leader peeling apart the mid setup. And, of course, in a head-to-head as well, versus Blitz specifically stuck inside that corner.
I mean, I have a sneaking suspicion that Heroic are not necessarily scared about trying to make this comeback. This is still one of their best maps, so it's not going to be a gimme. Absolutely not. Mongols CT side Anubis is strong, but in terms of belief, I think it's going to be there. So let's see if the CS will speak for itself here for Heroic.
Nice peek from 910. That's Nerds dead. Timing not quite there to topple Tesses.
Massive kill. Kixan speeds up. Techno's on the other side this time around.
Shush locks into the B corner. Bomb will be scooped by Kixan as he doubles back to spawn. Taking an early sniff at this B site before Mongols even have a chance to get aggressive anywhere else. The positions that Heroic have indeed left open. But that smoke going to cool their jets. And I wouldn't be surprised if Mongols make an information play elsewhere. Utility finding its place. But 9-10 dies, and the Dark Peak's good.
It's the nade broken with E-box control. The timing is wonderful.
And
here.
a smoke on Temple denies the MP9, so this bridge flank is going to get a chance to duel versus Degster. Heroic pouncing in with well-timed utility. Not that they had a ton of it.
Yeah, he was playing basically front sight, right? Because he wanted to line up with E-box and take Tessus out in that moment, and that's exactly when Heroic staged the attack. So that's another problem about this side of the map, especially in CS2. It's like there are so many advantages created just by breaking the smoke open. It exposes good positions, people in transition. Anybody who's even rotating to Temple from backside gets exposed if that nade is opened up. That's a strong round for Heroic. It's a good opening frag for Mongols, but they don't get scared. And that one's just a little too expensive. I mean, they've got 3 decent guns here. I mean, they just can't drop more rifles, so it looks like they'll even out the money, try to make do with these guns. Certainly seems like the sage decision.
Techno looking like he wants to get frisky. Those bullets aren't far off the mark,
Yeah,
but
you got to go up to the wall. You got to push up farther. But just the fact that Techno is getting shot around, I think is worrying.
Oh my God, every bullet misses.
But you see what it does.
Just playing in traffic for the fun of it.
This is where ammo becomes a resource. You know, even if he has no real intention of actually killing him in the corner, but Techno will fall back from that. Now he
tries
just
to
dies.
peek. Yeah, off of the utility being used up close, thinks maybe he can swing, but it's good coverage offered over by Degster.
And again, we can be generous here because they don't have full guns. They're going to take some risks.
Sure. The Fomus gets retrieved. Senzu stretching for it. And what was an occupied close wall outside B is left alone so that Heroic can go numbers strong into an A site that has just been evacuated. Mzinho falling back through middle. And the Mongols ultimately going for a stack, taking a gamble that will not pay off here in this one. So Heroic go up to 6 in just a moment's notice. Nothing but a 5-round difference to separate these teams.
You know, as Kixan, all you've got to do is get 3 or 4 rounds, and then your team will suddenly just be on the same page in terms of, okay, you know, then they do the post-game interview. Yeah, we weren't even looking at the score, going 1 round at a time. We were just in the flow state.
You got nothing to lose and nowhere else to be. You can take your sweet time.
Let's see what kind of CT tactics we've got for the Mongols to use.
Yeah, as the half got closer to the end for Heroic CT side, we started to see them be a little more brazen.
I think good players like Mzinho over on the A site is where we can see a lot of value created on the map. These basket pushes and those duels are often won, you know, by mercenaries like Mzinho, who solo hold the site with some support utility from within the site. But those type of tactics will definitely grant you 2 or 3 5v4s on CT. If he's feeling it. And his raw duel that he's going to be in with Shush in defaults will also matter. There's always a spam war between the site and baskets, 2 riflers through the smoke on timings. That also dictates the flow of the map. I love how we get the game review from behind with the shoes off and the bottles and everything. That's how we really are.
Yeah. Pull back the curtain.
Yeah.
Exchange a utility on bridge to set it all up. 9-10's going hunting. We've seen Blitz take this contact previously instead, but to be honest, this is looking like a good kill for 9-10 to find. Kixan, if he's not careful, he's going to be found out right in the open. And he's using util a little haphazardly. Oh, I'm telling you, it's there. Now, luckily for Kixan, that's his last nade, so he's not able to pull another one out. Meanwhile, we're going to get into the dark pressure for Techno to deal with. And there is this slow shift from Heroic to A.
This is what I'm talking about with Mzinho. Now, this time he doesn't even have flash support.
Nothing.
We've got 9-10 who has a Molly as his first rotation.
Yeah.
So this will have to be raw.
Mongols.
Here, okay? This hold will have to be extremely raw.
So adamant about B. Oh, and he gets blinded, so it is an absolute crush. It could not have gone worse.
He went to look for a very close position so he could get in front of the flashes, but was too late. This is a perfect call from Heroic. Execution is sharp, and they make that incision across the A site, right through Mzinho, like paper.
What feeds this Mongols adamance that B was the intended target? Other than like a half a second glimpse over the bridge, it really didn't feel like Mongols were looking for any info this round, no?
Yeah, the only thing they did was bridge, and sometimes that's, you say you, ooh, oh my God, they're gonna get killed inside of this post plant. They already see them trying to save. These are really important guns here. I mean, losing after a single player dying is one thing, but you want to be really careful.
Yeah, looks like majority alive.
Yeah, early on in the half, right? Early on in the half, haven't tested everything too much. If you do give too much information, and if you do give too much information, then the other team can make a read. If the Mongols thought a default would last longer, then they're willing to lean B earlier on, then this can be because Kixan knows that if they decided to test B first like they used to, Mongols reinforce. This is how they won last time when they played at Thunder Pick. And that's why Mzinho was so caught off guard when he went for that late scramble to push into main.
To no surprise, we get an adaptation. And we're going to have the Mongols off of 9-10 posting up on A instead out of the gate. Techno once more going to try to pick up this corner position.
You got to be careful, man. Tess,
yeah, he's going to find him this time. He got lucky previously occupying such a spot. Bullets whiz by him, no contact.
That's
easy 5v4 out of the gate here for Heroic. We are talking about a 3-round game. If they can convert this 5v4, we are talking about an economy that continues to get bottomed out and a Heroic with a map in their back pocket. It is time to take this T-side seriously.
It is. A second push comes in. They'll have to fall back off that. Now they're getting juggled between the sites with Shush on the other side.
Tess keeping the pressure up, and Senzu's not able to slide in.
This is where you're trying to cage a lion, right? And what are they going to do? They're going to roar.
Frag goes a little past him.
In this spot, the CTs will never be okay just sitting pretty.
It's an evacuated A site, completely left open. All about taking position on B, and that's why.
That's a big failure out of Dexter. That shot was easy. Senzu makes it look like a miracle. A second kill in as well.
Allowed to run the risk because the Opera rotates over, tapped from a distance, and finally put down. Bolstered by confidence, knowing that an additional player gets thrown into B to make it up after Techno dies alone.
The bomb is behind him, and he can literally run to the other site if he's careful.
Nah, he's lost the plot. It's done for. Roped into dark.
Oh, that's a huge mechanical mistake out of Dexter. They were waiting for that push. He's got a relatively safe position to hit that shot. It's not even a wide swing that displaces an aim. He just fails. And this is the start to the round as well. Oh, that's what happened. Ooh.
Tessa sliding straight into the stream of bullets. Kixan looking lost in the sauce to try to close out.
That's what having a lead grants you.
Of course.
The chance to get around like that. It's not going to happen every time. But when you were sitting on 11 for so long, you're bound to have some luck go your way. That's another round with great staging for Heroic, but this time we don't have 24 kill Dexter.
And the Mongols, even after falling victim to a very convincing A-hit 1 round prior, still just let 9-10 go bolster B so that they can get a bit frisky and dark. Listen, Heroic, they don't have Degster, but Mongols sure as hell have Senzu. 21-10 after he rips their heads off through the dark peak.
His aim has been incredible all map, and that's something we can say for sure. Yes, Degster missed, but the instant punish from Senzu. Even if he was able to peel back, that would have been scary. So, now it's
Insta peek from Shush. He wants that contact, and he will find it. The kill comes with it. Techno tries to put the smoke down, gives away his position, and it's a blind shot through the smoke, connecting here for Degster. Heroic looking for a fast B rebound.
What a brazen call after a round where they just slowly lost in such a tragic way. Again, showing that they don't get rocked in moments like that.
Not getting rocked, not playing scared. You mentioned it early on that Heroic had to bring that to the table.
Don't forget, Kixan was also one of those stories from Paris in IGL that, you know, like ZTR in this stage, like Volt, who had made it to that quarterfinal. Some of the more unlikely stories have shown they can do it again.
It was sheer aggression from Shush.
Sorry, ZTR not doing it again, doing it for the first time.
Yeah.
But for some, Kixan, for some, they thought it would be the last. After leaving Apex, the future was unclear. Getting Heroic as a contract was actually surprising to a lot of people, considering the results on Apex after Paris weren't strong. And CS2 hits, and who knows? Kixan primed himself for this opportunity, and they did not get to the semifinals without playing to win.
That's because he impressed the right people. We've heard that Saw hand-selected him as the leader for this team.
And I heard his buyout was also pretty high.
When somebody like Saw believes in your mind for the game, you answer that call. Fast play again, though, and it is met by resistance. A second op out of nowhere for the Mongols, but that op is coupled with a USP, and Kixan will fear you not as he just goes charging down to camera. Great grenade damage. This could be the end.
They have to fall back as the Molly.
Mongols able to turn them back, so suddenly we all catch our breath. Heroic slam the middle of this map and then disappear just like that.
Now,
smokes up, met by Util. Everybody to shuffle and reposition.
Now who's on a double op setup?
T's stealing it away with lower health. Mongols thought they could have just ended it with one final explosion. But now the unknowingness of Heroic setup starts to creep in, and so Mzinho goes for a little long control.
Yeah, they need to put pressure on these extremities so that the Mongols get insecure about middle, because right now they're trying to cut off both
Mid's
players.
Open. And Degster doesn't expose himself to the deepest of angles into A. They're waiting for the CTs to make a move. And Mzinho, with the way he just pathed, could have been caught by Kixan. Will step into it.
Patience pays off.
Took his time, but it's still two ops to try to make their way through camera into 9-10. I bet you he's better than both. But we'll see if the trade can come out if needed by Degster. Kixan going to keep that utility pressure up. Heroic wanting to cut this down to a 3-round game. Oh, but he peeks and clips Nerds in the background. They give him a smoke to work with, and he's just going to flood flashbangs into the site. Bomb planted. Low HP still on 2 of the 3. Mongols, no mid-take, no
Dexter.
Flank. It is fully in from storage.
Smoke goes up, and Dexter's in the most important spot. His timing is everything.
Nade for the bricks as these flashes continue to sail over top of that wall. Degster just keeping backs turned to him, decides not to peek, but now that he misses, they know. And 9-10 able to punish. It's low players left, Heroic, positions known. And as 9-10 gets out, time's against him. He's working with the kit, but he's got no brains left. Shush slams him against the wall, and Heroic rebound after nearly getting stuffed in the first 20 seconds.
These calls are Glaive-esque out of Kixan in this moment. That mid-burst into the op, chasing it down with the MAC-10. Kixan thought he could have died right there, could have given up the round and the match all in one push, knowing that that op got the first kill, but they get the trade, and then they get creative. They use the 2 ops to punish both rotations, don't have to move a muscle, and the patience does pay off. Eventually, they're correct. The Mongols get insecure about their lack of mid-control and know the rotations are going to be so slow around through the beach, and that's how they punish it. Malzinho goes down. They're even aware that Senzu is going to be up in heaven, waiting with his op. They don't take the fight there, and the post plan is easy. Now it's a 3-round game. It's one extremely critical miss from Degster a round to go that allowed Mongols to get to 12. But Heroic clearly can win on rifles on this T side.
A double op that almost caught Heroic off gets turned against them. Degster takes an early nade through the windows. And so he's going to be working with 50 health. Mzinho, you've got two players coming at you.
He actually he could have fought there, I think. That smoke was really good. But I think that's a moment where you get scared. You play with that timing in a moment like this.
Yep. And Blitz has to scramble back to try to save you while he was starting this round by supporting 9-10. This is TeSeS making a bunch of sound, heard by the mid-doors player, of course.
Oh, and they're immediately going to go back to A, aren't they? Yeah.
I don't blame them. They've had convincing takes.
They're playing, accelerationist CS right here. They've just put some quick pressure towards the A site, made them fall back, immediately made it look like they're in a slow default. And actually the mid-mollies come out as well. 9-10, fighting for space.
Gonna try to overwhelm the Opera, and even the utilities enough to convince him to give up a lot of space. Heroic have established a three-player pack on the other side of this mid door.
They can smoke this off safely. Oh,
deep B push. Oh,
what a shot.
That's beauty. A beauty out of Degster. Just enough to send a shiver down the Mongol's spine. Look at these repositions. As all of a sudden, Heroic start to set more sights over on B. That one kill has them thinking they can transition into a split. It felt much more like a mid-play. Now, Kixan's going to start to transition forward, and if he puts pressure onto this temple, it is a completely foregone conclusion.
It's incredible.
Mongols have forfeited B, barring Senzu.
Yeah.
The finest member of the Mongols on Anubis looks to slide in. No way he stops this bomb, right? Oh, okay. Takes a wild spray. It's off the mark. The bomb is planted. He's got no teammates here to help him. And that is Heroic to pounce in order to cement the double digits.
They have to save. They have to save. Mongols have no money on this round. They'll get a kill. 9-10 playing it slightly aggressively here. With the amount of time left on the clock, wants to make sure he gets home. But in this spot, Mongols, these three guns is a blessing to lose a round, not get wiped off the scoreboard, because it would have been too straight for Heroic. Another great call out of Kixan. A strong shot from Degster. And you see what happens when you win mid as a T. They expand on A just like we saw Heroic doing. That's what lost them rounds in the first half. It's got the same yield for Heroic right here. Now this is actually what's really awkward, because they're going to force behind these guns.
What a shot.
Yeah, that's...
Oh my God. And what a stoppage that could have been. Trying to jump on Nerds while his hands were busy on the plant.
And you know what? Heroic played with full information this round. They didn't go back into that full fast A. They did some quick moves in the beginning, but ultimately they waited for that push. They got the kill, and then they went to the weaker site. Just improving their position slowly. That's why they've been consistently ahead here. Mzinho playing it passive. No one's here to help him.
Yeah, because of the early mid support, Mzinho has been alone at the start of some of these rounds. And we've seen him drop with nothing to be proud of. This is going to be one of those moments. They take away his temporary cover. He keeps his head against the wall, but it's a double entry out of TeSeS.
Crushed.
Absolutely smashed.
Another fast play.
An 11-3 deficit turned 12-11. If not for that one miss from Degster,
yes,
that 12th wouldn't even be on the board, and the Mongols would be sweating bullets.
Another critical save. No chance for the retake. The economic pressure is just adding to the circumstance, knowing that they are so close to winning, but have to keep saving. No retakes coming out. No chance at that, of course, with TeSeS getting his instant 2K.
They're going to try to take these guns down. There's a real chance they all fall. 9-10, there's a player coming from sight. Oh, he's just going to try to put the smoke down, hanging on for dear life. Critical save. Oh, and he's good.
Yeah, he saved himself, maybe?
He's good.
My God.
Whew. He is good, but Heroic are better. Because we talked about that first map being a masterclass from Degster and TeSeS and Nerds and the star power of Heroic putting forth. But they are not the better players in the server on Anubis. There is a star on the other side, 2 of them that they've managed to survive in the face of. 9-10 and Senzu just can't end this game yet. It has been phenomenal calling out of Kixan, tiptoeing their way through a complicated T side, and now he attempts to force his way into an early B contact. Dexter, you have to pick up that slack. Shush is walking in with his back exposed. The bomb gets stopped, and the Mongols 2 frags out from extending this series. Again, the bomb sits down in front of them, and Heroic's players untethered as Nertz is on the other side of this map, but this flank could be found out. Dexter, yes!
No.
He gets him! And with that, doors are open.
Yes, bombs in the sight, but now the CTs can't safely camp it. You can see them swinging around, pivoting, looking for a target that they don't even know if he's actually there. Senzu's got a very deep line. Back on the beach, Nertz's frag versus him. That could be everything.
The shots
to win. He needs this.
And he fails! Nertz takes it clean off! And Mzinho, who has been left to his own devices inside of that A site, a young god on the youngest roster at the major, he peeks into a waiting Dexter, and guess what? He doesn't give him just that bit of skin. He goes back to the Nertz frag, wins that one, and turns, burned off. He missed the shot. The Tech 9 forces OT.
Dexter's on his feet.
A recovery. A phenomenally called half from Kixan.
It got to 12-7. Incredible calls. I gotta say, I wasn't a huge fan of the last one. I thought the Russians got him all the way there. Okay. Now maybe you know you have more money. You know the other team's ready for very fast plays. Maybe try a different tempo.
Maybe.
Kixan says, hell no. That's not how Glaive would have called. That's not how Glaive would have called. Rushes to the very end.
And Dexter ends up being the man of that final round, because not only is he the one that specifically trades out Kixan, gets this second kill to his counterpart, but finding that flank is what opened the door for the CTs to split up and what allowed Nertz to get that isolated 1v1. A 1v1, by the way, in CT spawn that would have ended this map.
Ended the map, 100%.
A missed chance to close.
And now, even though Mongols had that amazing first half, their rounds were a lot closer than Heroic's. One mistake is the only reason that Heroic probably haven't even closed on this comeback. And now they'll get a chance to prove if they're actually better. Now that we're in overtime, a little bit of chance to let things stir in your mind. Mongols, can they figure out the solution?
Well, they try to pull out this double op setup again. We saw this get absolutely floored by a lesser Heroic buy when they rushed into middle and then slowed the round down, but oh no, that's a teammate's flash that blinds Kixan.
And you can see where Blitz's position was totally perfect for avoiding that flashbang.
Not the time to make mistakes. Who's tasked to the recovery? 9-10's position's been found out. The fallback's not guaranteed. He takes half his damage on the retreat, but he will still get away 5v4.
I will say I love seeing 9-10 in that position. Mzinho has been there too many times alone as they've tried to walk in, but the shot gets dropped. That's a chance that goes, and E-Box control has now been taken by the T side. Not even at a minute.
Spotted on the jump. That's a dangerous game. Grenade with Shush's name on it, doesn't find him.
It is just so cramped though in here right now. CT's curled up, waiting.
This B site feeling claustrophobic. You do not want to get boxed into a coffin. Looking to pad it with a smoke towards long, but they could go for the boost.
Yeah, they're thinking about it.
And that could damn well catch a player in transition. Techno plays from the platform, Blitz throwing that op up and holding the dark, but this is indeed the 4v3 into the split with 20 seconds. It's a flurry of util to come out. It's Tess to try to move this forward. Blitz dead. Opera gets popped with a single shot, and Senzu's got the recovery, as he always has. Yes, a second, but then 2 more peek deep into him, and it's Dexter to make the difference.
Plank goes down, Dexter to cover.
Thrust into another clutch. She will find the first this time again. It's him and Nertz. And guess what? The Israelis got it. 13-2 Heroic.
That's another round in a row.
Believe your eyes, they have a lead.
From 12-7 to 13-12, they have a lead. Wow. the sun might be going down on this series for the Mongols as Heroic have done the unthinkable. A massive comeback after a massive first map. This is revenge and then some for their last series.
Hell yeah, it is, because that first map left no questions to be asked. Wasn't close for a moment. They set the tempo with a stark improvement. Mongols map pick as they thought it would be an easy day in the office versus a team that they just crushed. Fast into the action already. Techno's gonna get swarmed. His pistol's not able to stop it, and Kixem finds the kill in dark all the while. The only thing going here for Mongols is Blitz's timing could catch them off, but that utility has him turned, and Nerds comes out to make sure that any kind of a cross could be supported. He scoops bomb up, he'll plant it uncontested, and we could be damn well looking at a clean sweep of overtime as far as Heroic are concerned. Nerds thriving as he takes over the server, surpassing the performance of Degster and Tessez that they offered back on Mirage. And nobody presents a crack in the armor for this post-plant. There is no chance to get back into it. The Mongols, best case, a single round in OT.
Unreal. Looking at top 8, Heroic. This is the best version of Heroic since Cadian has handed over the keys. Kixen is the one in the driver's seat for this team, and he can be offered up a lot of credit for making this comeback happen. And when we talk about Saw's ends, it was often him who could receive some credit for the calls that were made on tack pauses in a lot of moments where we credited Snappy. Snappy himself had said that for him. And here we are, 2 rounds away from the 2-0 for Heroic. In one of the best draws that Mongols could have asked, but this was a series that had great maps for both teams all the way through, and that's why it has been so exciting. But this game is not over if Mongols even get a single CT round here, and they've got the money to buy.
Not the money for another double up. But no question on 9-10. A key piece of the defense. And he'll burn his smoke on bridge. Instantly moving over to that B site, leaving middle open in anticipation of an early hit. A little posturing from Mzinho. But you gotta be careful with how much util you let go early. And they have been liberal with the smokes and mollies out the spawn. What has been previously an occupied smoke will also be an empty dark room. Mongols starting to get moving. That's both on mid and B while they get that mid kill. They're able to press out, and Shush tries to go back, peeking into Senzu, who simply remains better. 9-10 wallbang frag.
I mean, they don't have the bomb. They're running into the site here. It's left back, 2v5. I mean, this is something the Mongols could do maybe, but I don't know about Heroic.
Not with 45 seconds. They realize the error of their ways. And it's the consistency in the Mongols' pressure to not play with fear in the final round of their CT overtime half. Look at this one. It is with convincing fashion. 5 stand as they have their way with Heroic for, at the very least, just 1.
Yes, and this is off the tack pause with Mara getting involved. Blitz having some extra time. That's who Techno credited as having the most impact on the team's success. I don't think that's a secret. And now we've got some more words here before we enter into the second half, and this is where we reminisce on the fact that even though Mongols had 9-3 on their CT, their rounds were extremely close. 9-3 on their T, excuse me. Heroic played very close on those CT sides. More 1-2v5, 1-2v4, 1-5v3. I'm going to go on the limb and say they're going to have a hard time recreating those moments. So we'll just have to see. The way that Mongols made those moments happen, E-box control, A main control. Sorry, B main control, and the split. Senzu, tip of the spear, 26 kills. He can beat anyone. This one's top heavy on both sides. Nerds and Dexter having the lion's share of the kills for Heroic.
But still, those Mongols players shining brighter. TeSeS had some late game impact. Time to keep that momentum moving. You've got Senzu as the tip of this spear. Sharpest player in the server. Look at this, 5-player pack, but it's the one in the back that dies first. All of a sudden catches them off guard. Mzinho in the front of it. When you have 4 players in a smoke, and the first one you spot is the 5th of the pack, it is no surprise that Mongols just burst into this bomb site.
No, that's a huge timing, and it's, I don't think, a coincidence that it's right when Nerds is smoking that off. And now it's actually Heroic. Nothing to do here. 2 quick wins for the Mongols. One as they switch sides. This one's a tie up.
So we keep all outcomes open.
Yeah.
Double OT or either to close.
I don't know. Did they do instant E-box and wait for it to come up while Nerds was standing in front of the pillar? Because he threw his smoke exactly
as they came through.
Yeah, as main came through. Again, I'll call it a limit and say it's not a coincidence. Either way for Mongols, it's the round. TeSeS needed more than one.
What a strategy to pull out of nowhere. The moment that nade comes out.
Yeah.
And Techno makes sure that there are no fun and games, no funny business to be had inside of Temple. That one gets close quickly, just as quickly as it started. A 5-player pack pushing through a smoke into B with precision in their timing.
Crowd's back to the back of the room, I'm sure. More than half expecting Mongols to have their glorious moment for Asian CS right here to instantly crack into top 8. It might take, well, it will take another map if they can even get there. But they have absolutely recovered this OT. For the new viewers, 1 more to tie to go to another OT, 2 more to win and end it here. Either Heroic on this map or Mongols to take it to a 3rd.
A 3rd I feel we deserve, but one Heroic have no interest in. A fight in middle to be had. Dexter's gonna have to survive the util pressure first and foremost. Does he disrespect this? It is Dexter after all.
Yeah, he is.
But they're pommeling him with flashes. Oh, and Shush missing a chance to strike one down from behind. TeSeS full blind. Nobody's getting kills just yet. And as he slides up into the dark, it's another 0 to 100. It is another missed chance as the op in the hands of Nerds will betray him. If there's any silver lining, it's they find a kill off of the back line with Shush re-aggressing on the flank.
Yeah, the best part about this round is they have 3 choke points they're approaching from on the retake. The strugglesome part is,
exposed!
It was a 4v3, now not. And see what happens, all the T's are worried. They've got to go somewhere together.
Shush starts sprinting from behind them on Canals. 9-10 finds just a glimpse to Dexter, but Kicksand's not done. He burns one out from the pillar, and now all they have is hanging on to Long. 9-10, you can't miss, and he does. He opens the door, and what do you know?
They got the
Heroic jump on top of Bomb, and Shush will push this into 15. A 3v4 retake out of nowhere.
The pressure is at its absolute maximum. A good first shot from 9-10, but then his critical miss.
Kicksand stepped this up, exposing this position.
Absolutely. And this is also because, again, we got Shush who picks one off on the tail from E-Box coming up Canals, Kicksand, and a Temple player all coming in from different choke points. This gives them such higher odds of being able to pull out the trades, but the only reason they find the first one is because of Kicksand's nade. Oh, what a clip off. TeSeS goes down, free haircut. Techno
right back to reality.
Off A main.
Right back to the tough spot. Dexter into the fire again.
Yeah.
He takes that chance. And luckily for him, goes unpunished, instantly peels away.
Nothing more frustrating for Dexter than not being able to be aggressive in these plays. So let's see if he can transpose into a new idea or if this will be a slow death for Heroic as the Mongols start to creep up on both sides of B.
Oh, but they're going to double inside of the dark room. If they fight Senzu and Mzinho with this A main push that's slowly coming, but as he turns to throw a nade, he falls and both will die. Senzu is the sharpest.
Let's send it to another OT. 2-on-5, I don't think so, Heroic.
Simply the best rifle in the server on Anubis.
And that's another moment that they catch the B players' utility out as they put pressure on from one choke point. They come in from another. Running in dry to E-box, not trying to play that off a flash and double swing.
Numbers disadvantage retake happened last round. Mongols going to be damn sure it won't happen again. 9-10 to close this.
Crazy.
Screw the one whiff. We go OT2.
There's your star. Massive moves from Senzu. Couldn't even create the 3-on-4 retake that Kickstand found himself in last round. The amount of time they get caught because they try to hold utility too long. That's why you can't wait the full 15 seconds and 3 seconds of dissipation. You've got to preemptively smoke it because teams like Mongols are looking for those timings.
For a team like Mongols to rise through the world rankings to now nearly touching the very top, you're damn right that they are making the most of the minute. And with some of those nasty timings they peel off in overtime in order to push us to OT2, I have no doubt this war machine well-oiled. And the sharpened blades of Senzu and 910 lead this charge. Credit where it's due. Kickstand called a great T-side to keep them in this. But the Mongols will hunt you down.
We're watching some top-tier Anubis from a team like Heroic who are trying to shed their old reputation, and the Mongols who are trying to prove that they're the new generation.
Ooh, he sticks around.
What? Shush from the bottom.
No way.
He was blind.
We have to see that from his POV.
Somehow discovers the trade.
Dexter legged the T to peak, and Shush just pushed it over the edge. And then we go into the B main fight. Heroic looking to maybe get off of a bomb site that they have so consistently lost. When the Mongols get a chance to exec in, Techno, oh, he's able to catch the flank at the same time Senzu finds his.
Crushed on all fronts.
Heroic trying to remain adamant, looking to stay active to make a move. Despite a 5v4, the CTs just made an attack on both perimeters of the map, and that has left them stranded 2v4.
One was waited for, and then the other they ran back to make sure that no one had pushed. The Mongols knew exactly what Heroic were going to try to do here, and they could have lost on one front, and if they did, we'd have a real round. Instead, we've got a 2-on-4 where both players alive are on the wrong site, and the Mongols have a chance to get back into the lead.
Bomb has been planted.
5v4 for Heroic to kick off this round. We are well out of prep at this point.
Almost feels like a mistake forced by how convincingly Mongols were able to take that B site when Heroic didn't get active enough. 2 rounds in the first overtime. We see that defense fall with nothing to show. So the defense tries to get aggressive. And you meet your maker in Senzu. Nearly touching 30 kills alongside 910. Dexter never goes down easy. 2 survive here for Heroic, same for Mongols. Cannot be understated. That was a 5v4 to the Heroic favor. Lost.
Heroic set themselves up for a great chance to win in OT1. Have they given Mongols too much time to think? And when will Senzu and 910 slow down?
If.
They are aging like wine in this series so far.
Shush looking for it early. Oh man, he zones him, but Mzinho's got positioning behind that fire.
Both can't see a thing.
Headshot connects for the Mongols player. And Heroic off of the back foot, watching this T-side start to walk away with an advantage that we don't know if they can afford. And as Shush peeks in and sees one player in Mzinho, he doesn't know that yet again it is all of the Mongols ready to rock. And Dexter completely outnumbered. Smoke in front of him, he lands a shot, but no, it's through the rocks and it doesn't deal anything lethal.
Oh my God,
it doesn't hold them back.
These are the kind of plays that got Heroic so much. A very simple T-side. It starts with Mzinho winning his duel. He's also 21-14, right? This looked incredibly top-heavy from 2 players. That's still the case on Heroic, but now Mzinho joins the fray for the Mongols. And I thought in regulation it was going to be his duels on A main that were going to make the biggest difference. Here he finally gets one post-regulation versus Shush outside the baskets after it's Shush's aggressive play.
That's a kill that brings it back.
That's true.
We are in OT after all.
Yeah, they already saved last round, but it's just the amount of time left over.
Gotta let it slide. You can see that 1 kill starts to take a confident Mongols player who is departing right back to the site. For a second, they're nervous, but so be it. It's solidified. 17-15. Mongols 2 rounds from a win, putting Heroic into the same place that the Mongols faced in OT1.
That's
going
right.
down 0-2 on a CT side of a map that has been all about the offense since the start of regulation.
They're looking for one at the tail end. The IGLs are tied on frags. The anchors leaning toward Mzinho. The stars leaning towards Mongols.
Mongols now, again, as you just alluded to it, they have their 3rd piece, and that isn't quite the same case for Heroic. We see Shush try to take up that responsibility, get into the fight right in the opening moments of 1 round to go. Dies for his efforts. There's a triple op on the field for Mongols.
Mzinho wins again. Triple op?
Out of the spawn, I guess they have.
Some, yeah, guns down, 3rd round of OT. So they just wanted to go for a pick play. And here they get Mzinho, who finds 1 trade, but now both anchors go down.
Using that extra cash. Can't bring it with you to the next half. Swap back to the AKs. Dexter awaits his target in the middle. He's got a teammate to try and slide up along this wall, but these are the 2 players you want in this position. This is the firepower of Heroic, finding 1 while blind. We've got support from camera as well, but as they overstep into the waiting crosshair of Blitz, we go 3v3.
That was something of a timing shot, wasn't it, from Dexter? Looked like he was still blind.
Can he do it again? Because he's got 2 Ts on the approach. He puts 1 in front of him. He lands that. But Blitz is going to use it as a ticket to crunch. Down into the A site they'll go. No resistance for Mongols.
Blitz sees nothing. He's actually running in, but there's a smoke. Surely he can't make anything of this.
Chasing all the way.
Oh.
Found out by the storage push. Dexter trying to just be hot on their heels. It's a clean sweep in the 2nd OT. The Mongols 3 chances to force Ancient.
And Mongols want a 3rd map. They're here to try to earn it. Yes, they gave up a lead in regulation, but look what they're proving in overtime. In Shanghai, already made history with the deepest run a nation team has ever made at a major. But that's just within this stage. That's why just a series. Looking to 3-0 for playoffs is what's on their mind at the moment. Going out in elimination would be an absolute disaster at this point. And they already know that they can beat Heroic. Now they have to prove it versus the biggest crowd so far. And we see Mzinho gaming. Let's see if Kixan has another flawless comeback in him.
Looking to sink their teeth into an A site early, but you are stepping forward to one of the most improved players of this map. As time goes on, Mzinho simply getting better. He's at the front of this, and that utility damage is great. Oh no! Nerds comes through, and the nade's got his name on it. Kixan is ahead of the smoke, and as he tries to press up along that wall, this is everything for Heroic. This is all they've got left to fight with, and they go 2v2.
2v2, best chance for the Mongols. 910 takes a lot of damage, but look at the open sight. They're running for it.
This is a huge rotation over. I said oh no on that approach because there was a T-frag grenade that gets bumbled up inside of the execute. All that nade damage, some of it at least, was team damage.
The Mongols are just chasing ghosts. They just think there's someone still here. Retake very much on. Here's the chance.
Heroic go from nearly tripping over their own 2 feet to sprinting into a vacant B-bomb
Shush
site.
is taking a risk. He's pushing Temple.
Not all the way. Just remains close on door. Techno makes sound, and that's an invite for the swing. Not the best performance from Shush, but when push comes to shove, he makes the difference. And it was Kixan with a 3K inside of the A site as his teammates fell around him. As the Mongols stand on the finish line, he brings them back by just an inch.
Terrorists win.
But that A hit was sloppy.
It was. There was nothing that stood out about this call like we saw from the T-side comeback in regulation. This one is way more scrimmy, and that was the case for the Mongols too last half. That's because we're way out of prep, and now it's just about catching people slightly off guard every round. It's about individual plays like that, but that's what it's going to be on Kixan's teams. He is going to have a round like that every once in a while, and it is going to get messy when you play this many rounds of CS versus a team that you understand.
Looks like they want another piece of that A site. Despite their opening struggles,
oh my
Mzinho chucks a nade in, but they are able to
my
just
goodness.
instantly clamp down on the entry. And there is a zero resistance from here on out. From 0 to 100, Nerds even sending one through smoke. How dare you think about the retake?
Yeah, they said, why not? Let's try it. There's no chance we'll pull this retake off 4v5.
2 full overtimes at least. And your measly saves not allowed in the face of a heroic rebound. And now it is Kixan to kick it up a notch.
What a sick game of CS. When does it all end?
We praise the Mongols 3-piece heroic, bringing one more to the table because it's not just the calls of Kixan, offering up kills too.
Mzinho has got to be so frustrated right there. Now, the thing was, he was about to nade his smoke open and check. And there was not a single player there to help him. This would have been a great round. 910 playing behind him, right? In this spot, with the affinity that Heroic have had for this side of the map. He goes unsupported and thinks he's safe because of his smoke. But again, you cannot trust smokes in this game. Not like that.
Morrow with a chance.
They did great off his last tack pause.
That they did, but they didn't have a buy like this.
Oh.
A Desert Eagle and 2 MP9s.
Ooh, because saves got punished.
If only they could have had the cash of that triple up setup from 1 half ago.
Yeah. Now this is around, let's see, Heroic, do they want to go in? I mean, they could read the money, probably. They could read the money, probably, if they wanted to test Mzinho again.
You'd have to be a hell of a man to try and flex that risk and force the issue. And it's incendiaries on every part of the map.
What was crazy last time was the call from Kixan so quick when they had an economic advantage.
Yes,
this time
sir.
it's a slower default.
Reality is sinking in. You have nearly swept back this second OT. You've got a player stuck in behind this bomb site, and you've even softened him up for Dagster.
Gotta pay attention to where that op's coming in from, and it's playing with Mzinho over on that side of the map. That walkout's happened, but at this point, Heroic are not gonna go for that right now.
CT's trying to hang on for this information in main. They will indeed take it over.
This is where we've seen the late mids. And if it's not going to be that, and they want to just go for the B split,
oh man,
yeah, CT's in a line.
Senzu in the middle.
No one in E-box.
Senzu is the core. Good flash. Blinds both. Techno's SMG. Give it a chance to swing in and thrive. Nertz's trade's there, but what about the numbers? When does Blitz strike, and how many does the rifle get? Again, 1.5. Deagle to the back, in the middle of the pack. Dexter clips him, and Heroic looking to have called a sweep back to the T side. Mzinho swings in with a double, and now it's an advantage onto Dexter. The Destroyer moves forward, and they manage to close it. Onto Ancient we go.
Yeah, we are going to Ancient only just. I'll tell you what, that mentality of the Mongols that we've talked about throughout the broadcast, it cuts both ways. Remember, they were 12-7 up, but that's the type of
piece truly made a difference. In a formula for Heroic where we saw each individual give us a round or two, there was just a certain consistency from Mzinho as that game went on. But it's two big matchups in the span of a month with a lot on the line. One of them for a trophy hoist, picked up by the Mongols in a best-of-5, but even that BO5 featured a win on Ancient for Heroic. Now this time it is major playoffs at the first Asian major in Counter-Strike history. The Mongols have to do the unthinkable and show us a flawless run and a stark improvement. Because if there's any team out there who's proved it, it's actually Heroic who has their number.
Yeah, let's leave it all out there, guys. 40 put on a show. Everybody's tuned in for this match. The full attention is here, the maximum amount of pressure. Every kill, every mistake. You can't rely on your teammates to get the trades. And look what happens on this round. A full A stack countered by a full B play. Mongols showing that they thought about this game all the way into the third map. They got an open sight and so much time already burning off the clock.
Where's the defense? Where are the CTs? Adamant about some kind of an A play, you get absolutely nothing, and we're talking 5v5 retake into the mix. They'll go, Kixon hanging onto the kit. Things could get explosive, or they're going to get entirely shut down. It's what it seemed to be happening until TessS answers with a double, but his teammate's incredibly low, and both of them are now already corralled with pressure from ramp, pressure from cave, and a player to be known back lane. TessS has to go forward. This is a 2v5, nearly equaled out 1v1 clutch for the Mongols as they'll push the pistol over the line and take first blood on Ancient.
Yeah, good amount of kills came as quickly as possible, but because Mongols were so quick about their attack, there was really no recourse there for Heroic. Ultimately, they knew they were in a losing spot, that they have been had by this play out of spawn without seeing the map at all. And again, it's a moment of perfect preparation here as the Mongols take the first round.
There was a smoke grenade in that replay that we see just kind of sent to the moon. Not sure who threw it, who got frazzled, how it could have helped, but when rounds come down to 1v1s, you hate to see it. Straight out into the mid extension, climbing up is Mzinho. Blitz will hang on to the mid control, the two of them just established, but there's a lot of bodies out there, notably towards Donut. Red Room smoke's about to fade, and at that point, Kixan will see there's nobody down there. He only got a glimpse, though, because instantly re-smoked, as now we're talking about a Mongols that even has cave positioning with a bomb looking to go join them. So B very clearly the intended target in back-to-back rounds. If Dexter's scout was able to do anything, that'd help. He enters map 3 with a 1.32 rating on the series. Found a bit more consistency as Anubis went on and was the star on Mirage for the blowout.
CT is all getting into these rotator spots, and Bomb can't watch this just yet. Okay, Blitz checks it. And now it should be a calm situation.
Yeah, smokes in the faces of the CT side. Trying to send some pistol shots through. They do indeed get a dink or two, but nothing thereafter. So the Mongols' conversion, clean as you could ask.
You can let them have the whole perimeter. I mean, even though they rotated over at the right time, The thought was A again. So, you know, game plan right now, definitely leaning Mongols. And that's why I was saying, you know, if Heroic had all of those wins and then played Mongols for the first time here on Ancient, then I would have said, okay, they should smash them, actually, you know? Because, again, the quality of teams and the practice and where they're at. But now that they played them once, they've just given them such important information.
Terrorists win.
We'll see if Mongols can use that to make the, I'm going to call it an upset, happen. Even though it's almost ironic because they actually, Mongols won the series. But this map in particular was one where it looked like they were going to lose the entire series, the first one. All right, Bai's not getting any better here for Heroic. Let's see if Kixan can call the stack that Blitz can't sniff out.
So far, nothing Heroic have to offer has really deterred Mongols from taking this opening mid control. Nerds will hang on to the full bar of health as yet again Mongols establish a bit of cave control. You're getting the smoke grenades out. You're figuring out the positioning. CTs with a couple of smoke grenades and, of course, one of them only inside of this B site. So if you're just looking to stave off any kind of cave commitment, TeSeS forced to throw it down as the molly pops. Effectively burning down that clock is Heroic. Get it down to the wire. Force these Ts to step into that scout of Degster.
Now they're playing with the time control here. 40 seconds with everybody lodged into great spots. Put so much pressure on the next person to be spotted.
Oh, this right here, but oh, he falls back.
No kill, however, 30 seconds.
Yeah, but now that scout's so low.
But they have to
MP9 in front of it, one and done. Easy transition for Blitz because of the early damage. Degster trying to stare at that smoke grenade as it comes flying from the heavens.
Techno not speeding up. He'll have a push in from behind.
Yeah, he'll deal with one half of it. Second
bad.
half just as smooth. Deagle's going to trade him out effectively, but at this point, it's bombed down for the Mongols. And a 3v1 inside of the cave. Kixan down for the count. The Mongols pistol converts for the 3-0 start.
It's well handled in the end. Degster moving is also, it's just, the thing is that how many times have we seen the site holder on Heroic move at the last second versus an exec? It's because Mongols are sending them so many signals to use their counter utility to get out of their spot that they're dislodging them at the right moment. Sometimes it's a frame perfect situation. The amount of times they set up Senzu to take over E-Box and get 2 kills. It's not a coincidence with it happening so many times.
Not a flaw of Heroic, but rather a feature of the Mongols. Blitz into middle, despite that burst of utility thrown forth by Heroic, the first time they can deter them from mid-control out of the gate. And yet Blitz doesn't seem too afraid of it. Doesn't shy away.
Really got to pay attention to TeSeS in this match, playing Cave, the guy who plays E-Box.
Degster too.
CT. Shots missed here from Degster.
So again, just a quick move from Mongols into the B bomb site. Luckily for Heroic, they will successfully hold back one half of the map, but it's just an open invitation for the Mongols to sink their teeth deep into the flesh of a B hit, round and round again. Degster, the best piece of Heroic so far in this series, is getting trounced inside this B site. Empty-handed scout round last round, and nothing to show with the op this time around either.
The highs and lows of Degster, right? That's what I was saying after the first map. It's like, I would love to believe that this was going to be the series where he shows the consistency that he hasn't been doing on Heroic, but honestly, the consistent piece to the puzzle is Nerds. Degster has peaks and valleys, and sometimes those valleys are just a little bit wider, you know, and I think, unfortunately, we're not in a position in terms of his average consistency where you can expect 2 good maps in a row, 2 good maps out of a series that are lights out. And while map 1 was a statement, here we are after Anubis. 9-10, the one to really soak up all the attention on the scope. And his plays are going to be critical, and his shots are going to be noticed, whether they hit or not.
Not the sort of buy that's going to inspire you to believe that Heroic CT side starts now. Anubis was an absolute tale of T sides. 9-3, T half was what Heroic had to bounce back from. No strangers to the sinking feeling of a first half slipping through your hands.
They really can't let Mongols take map control like this. I say it now because it's not the round where they're expected to stop
So
them.
Shush will stop him. Takes the fight right to them.
There we go.
With the limited weaponry that Heroic handle, that M4 almost picked back up, but if anything, it's just the coffin of Nerds in the end. Trying to extend down to grab the gun. The bomb doubles back. Oh, great wallbang damage coming out of Tessus, being an absolute nuisance for this fading mid-control of Mongols. The 3 players that are left, one of which tagged, will head elsewhere.
We're going to look for his rain impression in this spot again.
For the first time, they're going to take this bomb towards A. For the first time, Dexter finds himself alone, but he does find himself at a key piece of a site yet again. And it all comes down to whether he gets the first one. 9-10 clears him off the pedestal, and he will find no ability to hold them back off A. And with no teammates nearby, this is the Mongols to most certainly put down bomb. You can see Heroic tempered as they try to step closer to this site. There's a bit of a hope here for Kixan. He finds the MP9 kill at a distance, jumps in with the SMG and gets a second, taps the bomb while the T's smoked. That Molotov gives Senzu
time.
Sense of confidence.
Kixan has time to actually find this kill. Senzu needs to peel back. He does. And now Kixan can't read this. He's thinking, no way he pushed all the way out. So smart from Senzu.
Yeah, played perfectly.
Oh, and now with no kit, surely
no chance.
He's got to get away from this. Senzu will come take one last glance as he gets out of there. Wow.
Kixan saw Snax's clutch earlier today. Knew that you could play Ring Around the Rosie. But Senzu's got other ideas. One step further. Bails to mid, locks the 5th in for the Mongols.
So what we saw the last round was one where you're forced to give up mid-control. You can come back in late after nades are established, but you don't have the resources to fight back early on. But if they let Mongols have blitz, get out of elbow in that same way in some of these following rounds, they'll have it used against them. Heroic know this. I'm sure they're going to look to challenge. Again, waiting for the delayed swing. And they'll take over elbow. No techno running over heaven from B lane that easily.
Easiest shot you could hope for.
That's a big mistake.
9-10's not there for the instant trade. We got a battle of the operas queued up for the A hit.
He was setting up a boost and he was just standing out way too wide. He was looking down for the dot. He's like, where's the dot?
Lethal error.
It's a small gift here for Heroic.
Yeah, we'll see if they can make the most of it. Nothing's a guarantee. Techno trying to line that up as smoke pops, but we're down to 40 seconds. They've not been able to get up into cave. We've got this bolstered B defense.
It's gonna be a flick.
Dexter sees a couple bodies out in middle, so a bit of an ambiguity as to where this bomb's to head. It's fine, Heroic man advantage. They can just lean back into the site. These 3 CTs looking to maybe keep a bit of pressure on the ramp.
Look at the window timing.
Love the push. It's gonna catch them off. Shush down into the action. 9-10's health bar goes too low.
Nerds.
No multi-frag potential on that one. Sure, Nerds will get caught out in CT spawn, but you think still it's done and dusted. Techno moving forward, swept away by Kixan, who takes up the fight at the bottom of the ramp, and it is indeed Heroic with their first round win, 6 rounds deep.
And we know it's not a sustainable way to win. Obviously, a mistake like that won't happen every day, but you'll take the opportunity when you find it. And the ideas were good. Again, establishing a mid pushes the fights to the extremities. That's why Dexter is warranted a chance at this kill in the first place. And then they even, with that, have a very strong B lane push where the rest of the map is still well supported. Not always going to win either of these fights. Today, they win both, and that's why Heroic have so many players at the end of the round. But this map with money always starts in mid.
Mongols clearly know it.
Now, there became a point in the meta where there was so much B lane control from just easy CT utility that teams started rushing A, and there are some setups where teams leave A wide open. I really don't like to see that. Virtus.pro do that a ton. It really works because B rushes are now powerful again, but at the same time, A is not simply that easy to retake with the right amount of utility down. Now here's that A lean, but it'll be a little slower.
Oh, Nerds locking into the corner.
They're looking to walk.
Yo, 2 backs, 3 backs turned! Oh! AK barrel to the back of the heads. Flushed as they try to walk out mid.
That is a dream lineup. That is a dream lineup and a dream setup that Heroic were ready for. The first time he's lodged himself in there. And they line up like Pac-Man to get killed.
Alama! Man, that takes wind out of the sails too, doesn't it? Look at the buy that now Mongols are going to limp into this one with. You said it, the control starts with mid. They went for it, as they have been adamant.
When you have money. As Walter White said, never give up control.
Well, they do this round. They leave A pretty much clear for the taking.
Yes, Dexter's a little late to this. He can die. He's got to be careful, man.
Oh, man, tries to go for a Hail Mary shot, doesn't land.
Now, this isn't a lost position, but it is a scary moment.
They could open up that smoke, try to expose somebody for the plant, and worst case, if the smokes fade, you'd think Planter could be doomed. They will find the headshot, but honestly, give it over. If Techno puts the bomb down, you're not mad about that.
Nerds, Tesses, 2 smokes left over.
Couple of flashbangs for the Temple fight, and Mzinho goes right in. Takes the one, Tesses dead. Kixan to pick up the mantle. Shadow advantage gives way to the follow-up peak. Mzinho maybe getting a little antsy, but they're trying to get an edge. They're trying to get that man advantage as bombs beyond the halfway point. Smoke comes down towards main. Beautiful lineup for 9-10. And Senzu in behind Big Box has got cover. Look at it go. All the kills quickly for the Mongols. Dexter's shot, send a message, but it's Mongols to win the round.
Yes, Blitz may die. We'll see. 100 HP down to 13 as he saves the one gun. Don't know if the op is recoverable if there was one. Dexter stays alive. Heroic sit on 2 rounds still, but this is the A play I'm talking about. That timing's been opened up. At least there is a donut player, but the important point about that is there is such a big difference between being at the back of donut and being right where the signpost is. If you can fight them right where the signpost is, that's where you get 2-3K lineups. Okay, but that's being half committed to the A site, not being half committed to mid.
Oh, miss boost. Teammates dink, damage good. Into the fire goes Blitz. Not gonna happen twice on his watch. But Nertz, surviving the headshot with 6 points of HP, pulls back into the instant leave. And we've got a whole pack of Mongols players ready to charge their way up ramp. Once that smoke fades, everybody joins them. Techno's got the info already.
Yeah, they know they're worried, though, about the B site.
Healthy util for the exec.
Got the default molly.
Kixan tries to throw himself into the middle of that smoke, hoping that maybe respect his, but no, sir. Mac-10 straight tears him. And Techno now looking for that cave presence as the Mongols are hoping to completely bottom out Heroic's money. It's a lineup as they walk into the cave fight. Techno recovers it. Look at the damage. Oh, 2 of the Mongols members down low. Nertz is in the same boat, so Dexter Dexter tries to pick up the mantle. One of those bullets hits one in the leg, and Dexter given a chance. 2 kills into this retake. Sends you up along the wall of the ramp. He holds, deals with nerds, and gets himself the second. It's laser beams from the Mongols beam.
And you want Senzu to be consistent. That's the star of the day here in this series.
Back-to-back maps. Lights out action on Anubis. Dexter given a gift in the clearing of 9-10, those HP bars low. But a headshot makes the difference.
Another clutch for the Mongols. Another clutch for Senzu. The prep from the Mongols in this game has been astonishing. Even though mid can be so hard to win, Blitz was very happy to just go down in material, 1 player on each side, make it a 4v4 and leave it up to his team. He knew they were going to be fighting that hard. Even 9-10 just looking for a glimpse.
Senzu better be careful. Yeah, quick to jump on top of him's Tesses.
It might be worth them trying to fight this. They just don't know exactly where Techno's got off to. And there are a lot of decisions being made all the same here. Coming out of the A site, Mzinho seeing through the smoke. The utility's landing just in time. Just in time here for Heroic to slow things down. They're barely dodging these slightly different versions of reality where the contact explode comes out, the kill comes in. Perfect shoulder spotting from Tesses.
Kicks and avoids that wallbang damage, but there's nobody here to hang on to cave control. And you can see the way that just peels the entire setup back for Heroic.
The best part of this round is having Nerds because they don't have to worry about the window timing.
Sure.
And he has Donut Cross. So A, they can play it very light, but as you can see, all the Heroic players have been juggled so many times, they're back lanes on CD side.
Oh, trying to boost on short side just to see anything. A glimpse.
What is it?
A glance to glory, but it's not there for it. Nerds will find Mzinho in middle. That starts to add pressure to the Mongols, who do commit into the bomb plant.
They're so light on grenades. Molly comes out.
Damage on the fallback, beautifully done. Dexter somehow finding a no-scope in the middle of all that, and he'll follow up to the techno frag. 9-10, though, exposed to both sides of this retake. Heroic forego control of the bomb site just to rip it right back.
Now, yeah, this is the more retakeable site, and we see why. Obviously, they had to brute force it. Spam down through the smoke, op shot, no scope through the smoke.
How?
And they have a line from short side on default where there is a lot of traffic. You're going to see somebody, you have 30 bullets. That's, you know, if you want to look at that in seconds instead of ammo and damage,
okay,
you can cut off this line for 5 to 10 seconds just off spams alone. Not surprised you're going to find 1 or 2 targets that way. Heroic have the best case situation here, where the retake is so easy now because of the amount of players. Mongols sitting on 7. Their staging has been better. Their prep has been better. Heroic still have some stuff to prove.
Up into their faces goes Nerds yet again. Smoothest round for Heroics off the back of this exact elbow hold, but nobody behind it. For once, the Mongols kind of let mid breathe.
Because look at this. It's a game of resources inside of middle. Just like Heroic had to give it back to them, come in late, Mongols have no choice but to submit to the fact that they're the ones who have one idea that they can pull out this round. And they can't afford to get pummeled by utility early on. But late mid always works. You can't plant the bomb here. The longer you stay out of it as the T side, the better the chance you have of fewer targets, the better chance you have of not getting flashed or mollied. And we see that Heroic have not used this to get DB control. They have not used this to play inside of the pocket this time around. There's not even a soul in Donut. They're actually a huge mid-timing, too. I mean, they're going to hear this smoke and not know who's on the other side of it. Surprised to see Heroic take this many risks.
This smoke for Shush, man. He wishes he could hold him back.
Yeah. This is when you find outposts and you make it very hard, and it comes down to one player on the spam.
Yeah, it fades. Oh, nicely done.
About time Shush had a round.
You know, biting his tongue and not deciding to spam through when he knew damn well there's probably players on the other side. He waits for it. It does fade before they get too far. You know, there's a chance where once Mongols are into spawn, they could have just pounced beyond him.
They just needed 2 more seconds on that smoke, and it would have got a little scary.
Not the case. Shush keeps it cool.
Nice spray down. No trade back.
That was a round with a bit of investment, one they can't afford to really get back this time. It's going to be real bleak here in the final round of the half.
Wow, they actually did put everything into that.
Everything you can. What you got?
Barely came up with good guns there, so a lot rested on that idea. Heroic may have successfully recovered the half. May have.
As they did back on Anubis. Strong starts from the Mongols T side. Smoke that lands on door, but Senzu's already beyond it. No eyes on lane. For a team that's really been playing the mid-control well.
Caught off guard completely. Dexter
They don't get it.
doesn't even move.
Just takes one straight between the eyes. TeSeS has to come back from cave control in that case, which does open a door for Mongols to get closer, and they seem to be figuring that out. Slipping a player up into the cave entrance right now in Techno 4K. Bomb still sitting right behind this ramp play. Senzu's trying to do all he can to prime this commitment, but eventually the pressure back from the CTs is too much for a measly Deagle to handle, but a ramp push from Kixan could leave a door open. He makes sure to hold the line. And as he fades back into the corner of the site, the Opera caught off guard. Techno knows that he's in there. Easy pickup on Kixan. That bomb's gonna try to cross over. Shush barely has an angle, taps away to deny it, but the kills still come in, and the Mongols have an edge. TeSeS onto the op, knows that there's a cave player, swaps into the AK, they just heard that op. 24 health here for TeSeS.
Timing, as Mzinho knows, eventually he may have to swing. Techno holding the cross.
Could be an incredible clutch as Heroic have reclaimed slowly this CT side. It's got to be the birth of something new, the renaissance for Heroic. TeSeS slides in, misses the first chance, and gets split by the last two. It's 8 rounds for Mongols on a T side.
Something that should have never happened. They got a kill, they fell back to the site. Dexter sitting dead on the angle, and unfortunately, as many kills that he's gotten, he's also been a liability. Not being aware of that angle is sort of unforgivable. Playing off short side as the Opper, as much as he had a solid half in terms of output, you can't make mistakes like that. And I say that because this is an anti-eco. And they also were a team to take advantage of mistakes that Mongols made. They got that 3K smoke spray down from Shush. Dexter found a mistake from Mzinho on the boost earlier on in the half. But they're the ones who need to get every round they possibly can. So instead of that 7-5 scoreline, which seemed like it was going to come in, now we're 8-4 and Mongols feel a lot better. They played solid, man. It's great. I mean, it's good to see them with this many rounds, considering their pistol, their approaches on mid, the amount of times they tricked Heroic, and how much more organized they looked in late round moments. Those site holds were incredibly messy overall from Heroic, and that's saying a lot considering the history of games Heroic have on Ancient right now. They should be the better team.
Yeah, the scalps they've taken as of late.
Yeah.
Some of the reasons you'd believe in Heroic happen here on Ancient. A pistol here for the Mongols would feel too good to be true. Heroic skate by mid-control, up into the red room. Looking to go into a split here. 910 finds first blood in the second pistol, but he's not able to stop 2 players, and there's a third one as well, soon enough to hold him back. Bomb is on Nerds, and there's no one to stop this. No donut control, but Mzinho able to peek out, soften up the planter as his teammates all succeed. Nothing has come back for Heroic. Nothing will have them believe.
They are assassins. Every single peek met with an instant headshot. Kixan
smoked
on 5.
No chance. Spam in through it. Will find Mzinho, but it's 910 on the defuse. Mongols with a golden ticket, having playoffs on the line.
That's right. CT side to look forward to. 9 rounds already. This is about not fumbling. Look at that. Perfect accuracy on nearly every front here. And even a bit of luck.
Making the most of the little they have has been a story that the Mongols have had to employ since they started to play international CS. In that last round of the previous half, they pull it off in the server. Now they have an edge. All eyes on them.
Be careful, though.
Have to be cautious. Can't make mistakes.
They smoked themselves out of Cave. This is pretty fine for Heroic.
Mongols stay fluid elsewhere on the map. We get Blitz taking up the role of securing mid. And there really isn't another option for Heroic, so they're going to have to bank on an explosive pistol and MP9 push out into the bomb site, where 910 only has 2/3 his health. But hanging onto the corner, the first one goes by, he loses Senzu, they're ready for him, he snaps over to the ramp, and that's a beautiful headshot he just landed on Tess.
2-on-2 is Mzino coming through this. He is
huge
really
health
fast.
advantage, they know they can take it, they'll force their way in and storm forward to double digits.
Best part about this round is getting the plant here for Heroic at least.
Counter-terrorists win.
But their investment, I don't know. I have no idea if they're going to try to do this. As we saw in that moment, even with the smoke off on Cave, they had a good chance of execing B just normally through Banana, but smoke held them back, made them play with discipline. Third timeout coming in for Heroic. And we could talk about how great these teams are at the stage, but we have to be consistent about the conversation that you can go 2-0 up and still get eliminated. Having a perfect first day means you have the most chances, but we can point to, in recent memory, teams that have gone 2 up and haven't made it through. And unlike in the last stage, here's where all of the Lions are. Na'Vi, G2, Maus, Vitality obviously getting through. Nothing is promised after today. That's the mentality you have to have. Blitz, let's see if he can get the value out of mid on CT side that he did on T side.
Yeah, they're going to throw fire at his last known position. He wanted to hang on to it in the start of the round, but they very quickly zone him back to Donut.
Mongols trying to prove their last attempt was a fluke.
CT's not making any mistakes here. Nobody overstepping a boundary. They have allowed for Heroic to group in numbers here on ramp. We saw Degster leave it lacking on this B site. 910 will not fall to the same folly. Senzu dead, empty, but 910 hangs on to the pillar. Finally, Degster reclaiming something on the opposite side, but every single player tethered with their teammate, and the Mongols hang on with ease.
You can just see the confidence. Look how calm they are in all these positions. Everybody doing their job. No one scrambled, turning around, running from different positions, caught off guard at all. Immaculate CS so far from the Mongols.
There is no fear in this play.
After barely surviving this series on Anubis.
There is no self-doubt, there is no hesitation, and there are no advantages for their counterpart in Heroic, who will continue to force their way down to the end of this brutal back and forth, this head-to-head, where both teams show stark improvements on the maps they last got blown out on. Depth is what you draw on. The learning curve of Counter-Strike is steep, and the Mongols know it.
And now they've failed inside of middle. They just lost in B. The CTs are here to take that info back at a minute 26, and suddenly they'll be aware.
They'll try a burst again. Incendiary goes down in front of it. 9-10 gonna keep them from being able to full-blown commit. Flash finds 4 faces.
Everyone blind.
Still Heroic, attempting to get out into the site. And Senzu sends some shot over the line. This isn't a bad opening here for Heroic, but it's gonna have to be one that comes clean. So a kill into Temple will certainly help. Pressure out through smoke for Mzinho. And he's not able to find that lineup. Not able to find that thread to pull on. How will they unravel this post plant? It's a kill like that. Tessa's head popped, and the retake's on! Flawlessness in a retake again. A MAC-10 swings. It's Nerds with a near 3K, but it's Mongols with a 12th and so many chances to seize their day.
Oh, just beautiful rifle work from Senzu once again. As he sees the gun in the wall, he knows what the setup is, doesn't get tunnel vision, takes one out in the back. It's an orchestra of frags here from the Mongols on the retake, and they touch 12 off of that beautiful retake. There isn't a bad thing to say about them. You would watch this game, go look at the match history for Heroic and wonder how they won a single game. That's how much better Mongols are than the last time they played. Under more pressure, in front of a bigger crowd, in the most important circumstance in Asian CS history.
Taking over mid control, getting a chance at a fight. Heroic, round by round, kill by kill, just like they did on Anubis. Oh, beautiful!
Wow.
Tesses finding one. As the Mongols' hands tremble, the thought of the impossible coming to fruition, they get caught in the fallback from the front site. It's Heroic who have been here before, but it's the Mongols that want it now.
The smoke with the frag delays and allows them to fall back.
This is
alert
winnable.
timing.
Yes, it is.
There's alert timing inside of middle. I don't know if he was spotted. Mzinho holding this just in case it comes back his direction. He's being careful.
Nerds keeping his head on a swivel. The bomb is now looking to join up from Donut. It would be a 3v5 to close it, a 3v5 to get into the playoffs, but they're denied by Nerds. Valuable positioning in that CT spawn, held on to. Tidbits of util pressure out from Senzu. It doesn't feel like the round, but it still could be. No plans! And that's gonna force Tesses to have his hands busy. Nerds will find the lurk out from middle. Tesses tries to eject back around towards B. It's an open runway to get away from the beast that is Senzu.
Can Senzu read this? There's someone to cut him off at the pass on his journey as he realizes that they have run for the hills. Nerds looking for the timing on the peak. He takes another one out. Key moment for him. 4 frags for Nerds. It was a 12-7 comeback for Heroic to get to overtime on Anubis. And they couldn't close out there. This comeback will be longer, and it will be harder.
Terrorists.
Mongols wholly without money as they take a second timeout. They're the team that embody job not finished. No emotions besides a slight bit of excitement from Techno, maybe Mzinho, and no one else until the game is done.
We've always talked about how stoic the Mongols remain, how they never show emotion. I can't wait to see if this is finally a year of hard work bursting through, or whether it's just business as usual for the Mongols. It's an easy 4-piece for Nerds as he takes to the top of the charts, padding stats to get to 20.
Of course, they're here for one team, and that's themselves. They might be incidentally representing Asia as a whole, but they themselves are coming from a scene that has been thriving quietly for a long time and are at the pinnace of it with the best pieces. This may be to them proving what they already knew.
Nerds trying his absolute damnedest to keep the hopes afloat for Heroic. Takes up a big responsibility of getting out middle early, but it's Techno with the opening kill in what could be the final round.
Wait a second.
910, he's let one get past. This is great timing for Nerds. Oh, but he loses the duel!
And he doesn't see 910 either.
Tess has to be found out in the open ground. 910's gonna come at this. Oh, they are playing with conviction. They are playing with zero fear. They have 2 players to topple inside B, and they've been spotted. Everybody on high alert, a single frag away. Counter-Strike is made by its history, and in the early days of CS2, we write the first page of a new book. Asian Counter-Strike, for the first time in major playoffs. Bask in the glory of the modern Mongol horde.